action will be taken against him. The government will today announce the legislation it hopes to get through Parliament before the next election in the Queen's speech. The BBC's Chris Mason says one of the most notable proposals will be a 5p charge for all carrier bags from supermarkets and other large shops to be introduced from autumn next year.
The hope is that by charging 5p, it'll put us off either using carrier bags at all or tempt us to reuse them or use slightly fewer than we might at the moment. Now, the government says that it's not a tax. The money won't pass through the Treasury's coffers. Instead, it'll be a mandatory charge that the companies have to levy, and the hope is that they will then pass it on to environmental charities.
The Home Secretary, Theresa May, has written to the Education Secretary, Michael Gove, questioning his department's handling of allegations that fundamentalist Muslims had been plotting to take over schools in Birmingham. An independent Muslim school in Luton has been criticised by Ofsted inspectors. Their report into the Olive Tree School will be published shortly. Passenger groups say there have been broken promises over provision of better facilities for wheelchair users at Bletchley Railway Station. The Marston Vale service, running from platform 6, can only be reached by an uncovered flight of 36 steps, despite funds being spent on improving access. More from Ewan Duncan.
The rail service from Bletchley to Bedford uses platform 6, which, despite some improvements, offers limited access for wheelchair users and the disabled. Rail company London Midlands says it's unable to switch the service to platform 5 permanently, as it's used by freight trains and trains moving on and off Bletchley Yard. But platform 5 can be used if London Midlands give an advance notice by wheelchair users. The company says the forthcoming East-West rail link will provide another chance to improve access at the station.
In sport, England's cricketers lost the 5th and deciding one-day international to Sri Lanka by 6 wickets at Edgbaston, and Andy Murray faces Frenchman Gael Monfils in the quarter-finals of the French Open today. The weather cloudy and wet with rain for much of the day, a maximum temperature 16 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
If I had a choice, I wouldn't live anywhere else.
It's one of those places that has retained its character and will hopefully continue to do so for many, many years.
It's all about where you live.
Oh, just a great buzzing place to live, really. There's so much going on.
And all this week, we're featuring Stony Stratford.
Stony Stratford, this is the place to be.
The big tour from BBC Three Counties
It's
Radio.
a rallying war cry from the elderly. Oh, not again. Don't make me go back in there again, Mama. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's wet, it's grey. Who cares? Who cares? Because Kelly Betts is there. And Matt Lockwood is there.
Hello.
And Catherine Boyle is there.
Hey up.
Oh, she's not there. I don't know where she is. Well, I'm wearing a pink shirt. I'm wearing blue jeans and black shoes and a green jack. What are you wearing, Kels?
I'm wearing a green jack, pink top, blue jeans, black shoes.
Catherine's doing almost the same, except she brought a grey jack. Matt, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing grey trousers. I'm wearing a pink striped shirt. It is pink.
It's not pink.
It's pink.
It's not pink.
It definitely
is. That's mauve. Lots coming up on the show today, including Hell on Wheels in Houghton. And wouldn't it be great if we could speak to a girl called Helen Wheels this morning, yeah? Rubbish rail service for the disabled. And wouldn't it be great if we could speak to a disabled person today, yeah? And a dog with a difference does his bit in Bucks. I don't want any dogs calling in today, no? 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Just waiting for the computer to load up a pop hit.
That pop hit is coming. I'm just double-checking the lyrics.
There's no swears in it. I can almost... I mean, obviously it depends on your definition of swears, but I would say in the classic definition... Well, I mean, there's a couple, but they're only...
If it's a couple, then it'd be fine.
Exactly. This is Pop. Oh, no, hang on. That's You Got It by...
Roy Orbison.
This is Pop. You see, it's not pop. That's the trick. Now, back in April, our big tour landed in Houghton Regis, and people told us the area had serious problems. Bedford Square was becoming a no-go area. Drug dealers and prostitutes were operating openly in Tithe Farm, and teenagers were tearing around on motorbikes with no respect for anyone or anything. Sounds a bit like my house. Worse still, people had stopped calling the police because nothing ever got done. Well, the officer in charge of the town told us we'd see a significant change within a month. Well, it's now been 6 weeks. So, our reporter Craig Lewis has been to see whether anything has changed in Bedford Square.
It's mainly outside Tesco's at night, gangs of lads and that, you know.
And is that, we heard before, people on bikes and things like that?
Well, where I lived, you've got the Dell, and it leads onto farmland, and you get a lot of bikes coming through there, motorbikes.
Have you noticed any difference in the last few weeks?
Well, I don't tend to come up this way at night. And that, if I do, it's very rare, but that's where most of the antisocial behaviour happens. But then you get the odd crowd that hang over up the top there by the corner shop.
Do you think is it a bit of a no-go area in the evenings?
I choose not to come down there in the evening, yeah.
And as you say, you're not really seeing any signs of improvement at the moment?
No, I can't say so, no.
At night, probably, if they have trouble. I haven't seen any trouble during the day, or you always get one or two riding on bikes, be doing Dunstable, so that's neither here nor there. But I haven't noticed any difference either way.
So as far as you're concerned, there wasn't perhaps that big of a problem in the first place?
Not during the daytime.
Well, yeah, that has improved over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Night time is the main ones, because you get quite a few people in here and riding their bikes. And
would you feel safe coming down here of an evening?
Well, at night time, no, I don't. But when these hooligans are around, and you just don't know what's going to happen.
You mentioned that you think you have seen a little bit of improvement, though. Is there anything specific that you've sort of seen come in?
No, not really.
Well, Bedford Square itself is all right. It's just the main road, like over here on Tithe Farm Road, it's just loud noise from like quad bikes and scramblers going late at night and stuff like that. It's really annoying.
And have you seen anything that the police have been doing to improve it?
No, I haven't, no. Not yet, anyway.
I am aware there is antisocial behaviour, but what I would like to see in the area is a new community centre. I am aware that the community centre locally has been shut down for some time, and there isn't anywhere for people to meet.
Yeah.
So I'd be very keen to see what the local council is going to do about giving us a community centre back for everybody. 6
weeks ago, people were saying this was a bit of a no-go area. Do you think it's improved in that time?
A little bit of it's improved, but still a lot of improvement to go.
What sort of problems do you see here?
Motorbikes sort of going wheelies everywhere, and just kids, doing bits and pieces.
Well, that was Craig Lewis in Bedford Square. It seems there's more work to be done in Houghton. This weekend alone, all the cars in one street had their tyres slashed. Oh, classy. Thanks, guys. Well, we'll talk to Sergeant Linda Wilson later on in the programme. Maybe we're missing a little something here. 08459 455 555. A bit later on in the show, we'll be talking about how rubbish it is to get around on trains if you're disabled. Well, David's in Bedford. Good morning, David.
Morning, Ian.
David, you've come across this yourself, have you?
Yeah, Bletchley Station is one of the worst in the country.
So, in what respect?
In that Platform 6 is always used for the Bedford-Bletchley line, no matter what.
Oh, Platform 6 at Bletchley Station is what we're going to be talking about in a little while. What, you're disabled, are you?
Yeah.
How does this manifest itself?
What? With the steps.
Well, what's your disability? What's your physical beef?
Mobility of my leg. I've got problems with the leg. I've ruptured an Achilles tendon.
Oh, blimey.
And it never was repaired.
So you struggle with walking, do you?
Yes.
And how bad is this Platform 6 then? How does it impact on your life?
The sense is that the steps are not properly done all the time. If they break, they don't repair them. And you feel as if you're going to slip and go right down the whole lot of steps.
Oh, blimey.
And all the other platforms have got access by the lifts. They couldn't even be bothered when they did put the lifts in to put ones in the corner.
David, allow me to play devil's advocate for a second. It's really expensive to put in ramps and lifts and things like that, isn't it? Should they be doing that for a minority of people?
Yes, they should. If you look at it, they have to send people. If you want to come out at Luton as well, you can't get access to all of the platforms.
Do you think, David, that people in your position need to, go and make a fuss and make a nuisance of yourselves to get this done?
Yes. I really feel that there's something strongly that needs to be done. Because that is technically a mainline station.
David, listen, I appreciate your... What are you doing up at this ridiculous time of the morning? I have to be. Why are you up?
Once I wake up, I have to get up.
You're one of those, are you? Can you not have a little lounge around in bed?
I am lounging in bed.
Oh, cheeky.
In that sense, but I'm one that listens early mornings.
Well, David, God bless you and all who sail in you. Thank you very much. 08459 455 555. Platform 6 at Bletchley Station is what we will be talking about in a little bit. But it is a nightmare. Train stations... some of them have got better in the last few years, but train stations are notoriously bad for people with disabilities. People in wheelchairs, man, forget it for a lot of them. Forget it! If you've come across this, 08459 455 555. The thing is, if they did install kind of ramps and lifts and all of these things on some of the perhaps the smaller stations, although, yes, there is a problem at Luton Station as well, it would cost you more money. You'd end up paying for it, with higher price tickets. Is that a price worth paying? 08459 455, etc., etc.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. In Chisel Green, the North Orbital already looking a little busy on the speed sensors as you head towards the Park Street roundabout. Then we've got some roadworks in Bletsoe to watch out for. The A6 is closed between Mill Road and Bourne End Lane. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thanks very much, Alice. Ah, man, it's 6:16 already. Isn't the morning flying by? It's Wednesday, the 4th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis, with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders popping wheelies. But many residents say little has changed. A 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening. And today's Queen's speech will include proposals for a 5p charge for all carrier bags from supermarkets and other large shops, to be introduced from autumn next year.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Can we do the bin bag thing later on? Right, it's the front page.
The carrier bag thing.
I keep saying bin bag. I mean the carrier bag.
Well, they do become bin bags in my house.
They're full of dirty nappies in mine. We haven't even got any kids. We have. Although he's coming out of nappies now. He sleeps in a nappy. The daytime, he's nappy free. And do you know what? As far as I'm aware, we've had no accidents. He very politely says, I want to do a wee-wee. Yeah. He then heads for the garden. The garden is the boy's default setting for urination. He said yesterday, or the other day, Daddy, I need a poo-poo, headed for the garden. I went, oi,
wow.
Oi! Back in there, sunshine. I picked him up by his ear and I flung him into the bathroom.
On the upside, it'll keep the foxes away from your rabbit.
Won't it just? Although that rabbit's getting on my nerves. It took me 15 minutes to coax it into its hutch last night. I'm going, Benji, come and get in the hutch. And I was doing the thing when I had a carrot, and he was nibbling the carrot, and I'm pulling it further away getting towards the hutch, and he's nibbling it, and then when it went in the hutch, he went off the other way.
I don't know whether rabbits are as bothered about carrots as cartoons would have us believe.
They prefer broccoli.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, okay? Benji's been spending a lot of time under his hutch. I'm suspicious. He's of that age. Of course he wants privacy. In rabbit years, he's a teenager. But I thought, I'm going to have a little look under the hutch. Do you know what I found on there? Load of rabbit porn. No, of course I didn't. That stuff doesn't exist anymore. I found he's been burrowing. It's like a network of tunnels underneath. It is.
Has he been shaking teaspoonfuls of soil out?
There's a whole network of rabbit holes.
And a blueprint.
And I showed it to my eldest and he thought it was hilarious. He went, oh, look, Daddy, it looks like a train track. I said, yes, it does, but we do not condone this sort of behaviour from rabbits. It's unnatural. Anyway, can we talk about the bin bag, the rubbish bags, the shopping bags?
Yeah, one of those, yeah.
Later on.
Yeah.
I bet Matt's got an opinion on it, haven't you, Matt?
Not on that. Just talking about your rabbits.
No. Where's he going?
I do feel guilty because one day when I was living in another
He's not looking
house,
at me. He's not looking at me. Look.
He feels very guilty, that's why.
Yeah.
We had a rabbit cage. And
Did you have a rabbit in it?
I not locked the door to the rabbit cage, so
Yeah.
a fox in the middle of the night came and ate the rabbit and the guinea pig. And we never saw them again.
You should never keep rabbits and guinea pigs together.
They're racist, aren't they? They hate each other.
The rabbit will use the guinea pig for you know what.
Well, in that case, maybe the fox put the guinea pig out of its misery, Matt. So, try and cheer up.
What's the other one? Oh, Clyde. Yeah, Clyde. We woke up one morning. We thought it was still alive. And, it kind of like went over to one
Who's
side.
Clyde? Your granddad? I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Another guinea pig.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Clyde. Yeah.
And what happened to Clyde, sorry?
He got a bit ill, and we thought he was still alive, and he died as well.
But you know, guinea pigs, you can reanimate them. This is true.
No. Really?
This is true. If a guinea pig dies, if you massage its tiny little breast, you can. This is true. You can reanimate it. I swear to God, that's true.
No.
Yes.
No. So we buried about 3 guinea pigs in the garden.
0845. Were they yours?
Yes.
08459 455 555. Can someone back me up? You can totally reanimate guinea pigs.
People try to put us to down. Talking about my generation. Just because we get around. Talking about my generation. Things they do look awful. Talking about my generation. I hope I die before I get old. Don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my generation. My generation. My generation, baby. Don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation. Just talking about my generation. This is my generation, baby. Try to put us to down. My generation. Just because we get around. My generation. Things they do look awful cold. My generation. I hope I die before I get old. My generation.
How good this record is, man. How good is this? Matt, I'd imagine music like that, really disappoints you, doesn't it?
That was good compared to the rubbish you started off with.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, what? Now, it seems the area's railway stations are still pretty poor if you're disabled, despite £100 million worth of government investment. Bletchley Station, for example, we just had a caller that's singling it out. They've spent some of the money there, but people still can't use the Bletchley to Bedford service because, well, you need to negotiate a small number of 36 steps to get down to platform Platform 6. Well, the local rail users associations complained to both London Midland and Network Rail. We'll find out how they got on in a moment. But first of all, we can speak to Matt King from Bedfordshire. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Now, you've come across this the problems with Platform 6, haven't you?
I actually haven't, no. I'm a rail user from Bedford down to London.
Oh, OK.
And I find the rail service to be pretty good on the whole for disabled access.
Has it got better in recent years, do you think?
I've used it for the last 5 years, and I think there have been, definite improvements.
What improvements have been made?
Well, it's little things like lifts to the platforms, or as a wheelchair user, something like you just said, 36 steps may not seem a big obstacle to you, but even one step can be an insurmountable obstacle.
Now, not all train stations and platforms have made improvements for disabled access. Do you have to plan your journeys, Matt? Are there some places that you can't go to?
Oh, most definitely. There's a lot of... I get the Bedford down to Brighton... Well, the Bedford to Brighton line and stop in London, and I would say that over half the stations are not accessible to me because I can get to one platform in the evening, but I can't get back from the other platform.
That must be very frustrating.
Oh, incredibly frustrating. But as I say, I use 2 platforms that are accessible at Bedford and City Thameslink, and I can't grumble. I'm incredibly fortunate with the stations I need. But for other persons with disabilities, I can understand how frustrating it can be.
And what does more need to be done? Do disabled people, kind of using that slightly lazy umbrella, need to kick off a stink? What can be done?
I think, in general, there's a lot of emphasis on disability nowadays, and things are improving at a vast rate. I really genuinely do believe that. And whilst there are some things that can be done at certain stations to make improvements, but some of them, they just simply aren't suitable for disabled access because they are so small, they aren't used too often. But somewhere like Bletchley, which has had a lot of money spent on it, the mere fact that it's not accessible is pretty unforgivable.
Matt, I appreciate your time this morning. Matt King there. We can focus on Bletchley Station now. Richard Crane chairs Bedford to Bletchley Rail Users Association. Morning, Richard.
Good morning.
What's going on with this Platform 6 then?
Well, we seem stuck with it, in all honesty, and we're very, very frustrated about all this. The line from Bedford, we feel, has been very much viewed as a Cinderella line for many, many years, particularly since the privatisation and the split between the operators, which is now Network Rail, and the rail company, which has the passenger responsibility, which is now London Midland. And we were promised over very many years that, yes, trains would be able to use Platform 5 at Bletchley, coming from Bedford, after major engineering work was completed. The original track and signalling made it difficult. We were patient with that. Passengers were very patient with that. All the work was done and completed last year. And then they come up with a whole load of excuses that they require the tracks through Platform 5 to be kept free for the possible need of a through freight train. Our observations are that is very, very few and far between indeed on that line. Platform 6 at Bletchley, I'm not sure how many steps there are. You say 36, that's quite possible. There's not even a cover over the steps. So not only are they steep, not only are they really a hazard for elderly and disabled people, impossible for disabled people, but very slippery when it's wet, very dangerous, and it's a very, very unhospitable environment for modern rail passengers.
I always find these kind of the ownership of these things confusing. Whose fault is it? Is it London Midland or is it Network Rail or is it both?
Well, I think the real enemy of this story is probably Network Rail because it's operational convenience.
Right.
Keep that line free. The trains sit at Bletchley. They should, in fact, be going to Milton Keynes and back. That was another promise that's not been fulfilled, and that would solve the problem. But they do sit for a length of time at Bletchley waiting to go back to Bedford. We understand that, at some times of the day that might possibly cause a problem. But for much of the day, the turnaround time is not great, and it's putting operational convenience for Network Rail before passenger convenience. But we don't let London Midland off the hook. I mean, they're the people who have got responsibility for their customers, and they should be really insisting that the long-held promises of transfer now to Platform 5 should happen. It's not just disabled people. I mean, I witnessed a few weeks ago, I was just arriving to go down to Platform 6 as a youngish lady carrying a fairly young child and a baby in a pushchair had just humped her way up those steps. It doesn't bear thinking about what sort of accidents could happen there.
Richard, thank you very much indeed. As someone who's... I've had to hump buggies up and down stairs at trains. It was flipping hard work. Have you ever done that? Well, you ever done this as a mum, Catherine? Have you ever been one of those mums where you've been humping up and down some stairs at a train station with a buggy and no one's helped you?
People tend to help me. I don't know whether I look particularly helpless.
I have seen mums halfway down the stairs, or halfway up the stairs, where I thought, I should probably get involved now. No, where I've just come across it, and people are walking past them. And I always, at the bottom of the stairs, do you want to lift up? And sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do. But I can't... Why would you... Matt, would you ever walk past a mum who was humping up and down some stairs?
Can you repeat the question, please?
For goodness sakes.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 northbound between junction 5 for Watford and 6 for Bricketwood is blocked after an accident. It was very slow on the approach while 2 lanes are closed. There's a little bit of congestion on the approach. Also, the London-bound carriageway between junction 10 for Luton and 9 for Redbourne. There's been an accident there and it's very slow through the area with the matrix sign set to 40 miles per hour. On public transport, the Northern Line has severe delays between High Barnet and Camden Town, with minor delays on the rest of the line after a signal failure. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Bedfordshire Police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. But many residents say little has changed. A 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening. Today's Queen's speech will include proposals for a 5p charge for all carrier bags from supermarkets and other large shops to be introduced from autumn next year, and passenger groups say there have been broken promises over provision of better facilities for wheelchair users at Bletchley railway station.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers lost the fifth and deciding one-day international to Sri Lanka by 6 wickets at Edgbaston. England were all out for 219 and there was controversy with Jos Buttler run out at the non-striker's end after being warned for backing up too far. Here's former England captain Alex Stewart.
They did the right thing. They warned Buttler. Buttler has done exactly the same thing again, whatever that was, first, second, third ball of the following over. So Senanayake is allowed to do that. He has not broken a law. Angelo Matthews as captain is allowed to uphold the decision. All I will say, but why have that law if it can't be used and utilised?
Andy Murray faces the Frenchman Gael Monfils in the quarter-finals of the French Open tennis today. Also today, Rafael Nadal faces David Ferrer. Yesterday, Novak Djokovic and Latvia's Ernest Gulbis booked their places in the last 4. England's footballers play their first of 2 World Cup warm-up matches in Miami this evening. Roy Hodgson's side face Ecuador with an 8 o'clock kick-off our time. Frank Lampard will captain an experimental England side with James Milner at right-back. And Hodgson hasn't just got selection to think about.
I think it's been quite important, the measurements that we've done of players' sweat analysis, to not everyone sweats in the same way, and those that sweat more might need a different type of drink, a different type of hydration. So we're going into great detail in those terms. I don't think I'll ever get to the stage where I totally ignore what I see on the training field and on the match field in terms of how people play, to go down a totally scientific route.
BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I've just read the most amazing thing. Is Richard Branson a Sir Richard Branson yet?
Yes.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, let's take it.
So.
Sir Richard Branson doesn't sound right. If he is, let's take it off him and give it back to him double.
What's he done now?
He's a flipping genius. Matt, what are you doing?
Kelly didn't want me to sit next to her, so I've moved to Catherine's chair, but...
Don't touch that.
Right, we have a few problems here. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're talking into the microphone. It's just you're talking.
No, I'm not now. I'm talking to the clock.
Okay. So, listen, you're going to like this. I'm going to click on a link and I'm going to show you something on a screen. Don't look yet. Let me boot this up. This is for Catherine, first of all, okay? Read that headline.
Virgin launches glass-bottom plane. That was an April Fool about.
Oh, yeah, that's
last
from
year, wasn't it?
That's from months ago.
Is that not real?
No.
No, because I saw that and got really excited about it. But I thought, where they're going to put the bags.
Sorry?
I thought, where they're going to put the bags. Your luggage.
Oh, that's disappointed me. Let's strip him of his knighthood and let's burn him in a wicker man, like in that film, The Wicker Man.
No, he won't like that.
Well, he
what
won't like
about a roof, glass roof?
What? Where?
Well, you could see the sky then, couldn't you?
You could see the sky wherever. You'd be in an aeroplane. What about windows? Oh, yeah.
Bigger windows on planes, that's a good idea.
I hate the window seat.
Bigger windows on planes.
I always when I was a kid, I liked the window seat.
Bigger
But now
windows on planes.
But now
planes with bigger windows.
But
bigger windows, Kelly?
I like to sit on the aisle so I don't have to ask anyone if I can go to the toilet.
Right, OK. Now, you've not quite got the hang of this.
Right.
You can't just keep saying bigger windows on planes.
Right.
I don't like, because if you've got the window seat, you've got less room. With the aisle seats, you can kind of lean out a little bit.
Possibility of two armies, armrests.
Yeah.
You can see your leg out a bit.
You can see your leg out, but then you can't fall asleep like that because they whack you with the drinks trolley. I'm not a fan of flying. I think it's grossly...
Also, if you're on the window seat, they forget about you when they come round with the trolley, don't they?
Yeah.
I like the 3-4-3.
Sorry?
I like the 3-4-3 formation on planes.
What is she talking about?
3 seats, 4 seats, 3 seats. I'm not a fan of the 2-seat formation.
So my...
Right. No.
This is one of my bugbears, right?
Me.
What?
Me.
Alan Bennett's helping us out today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you don't mind. Don't cry.
Shall I read a poem later?
No! So, listen, the government is... the Queen is going to go to the government today in a fancy new cart.
What are you laughing at?
Why are you laughing like a girly child? A really girly boy.
It's a new laugh that I've developed.
Wow, you've
in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'd send it back if I were you.
I want to get a refund.
Yeah, OK.
5p.
Please shut up.
Speaking of 5p, that's how much we could be charged for bags.
Yes.
Look at that link. You see, I'm getting the hang of it.
Actually, shut up. No, I'm serious. Stop it.
Oh, dear.
No! So, the Queen is going to Parliament today in a fancy new cart, OK? It's made out of bits of the Mary Rose.
It's got a crown on it and a bit of Dam Buster.
And I think a little bit of the Queen Mum as well.
No.
Now, so she's going, right, and she's going to do the Queen's speech, and she's going to announce the new plans for the last 12 months of Parliament.
Yes.
The most exciting thing they've got is they're going to charge 5 pence for plastic bags.
Because we didn't learn.
The Daily Mail is very excited. Victory for Mail's 6-year campaign as ministers force reluctant supermarkets to impose 5 pence charge. At last, plastic bags will be banished.
Not all supermarkets were reluctant. Marx's have been doing it for ages.
Marx's have been doing it for ages. I don't get... Why is this such a big... This is the best thing. Hey, government, you know there are, like, people starving in your country and they're having to use food banks. And you know there are, like, people who haven't got enough money to feed their children. And you know there are people who've got 0-hour contracts where they're contracted, so they're off the unemployment figures, but they haven't actually got any work. You know all that? What are you doing 5 pence on a shopping bag for, you plums?
The best way to avoid the charge... The 5p charge is to use the self-service machines, because at M&S, should I be telling people this? Now, M&S, if you put in, it gives you an option. Oh, do you want to pay 5p for a bag? Well, you don't. You just get the bag anyway.
You rob bags.
You rob bags. You bag robber.
So, I mean, that is a loophole. that M&S need to sort out?
It's not actually a loophole.
Is it?
Well, it's like saying, well, I took this old lady's purse and spent the money on crack cocaine. It's a loophole.
Well, I'm talking about plastic bags, not drugs. I mean...
Dregs?
Drugs, yeah.
You know, what's that file sharing service on telephones that you've just learnt about, where you can send each other free messages?
Grindr?
Whoa.
He's only just discovered about WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
And he calls it what?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. I just think it's ridiculous. I don't care you'll pay 5 pence for bags. No. It's a good idea, it's a bad idea. I literally couldn't care. 5 pence? Yeah, I'll pay it, whatever. Who cares? I'm not getting a bag for life because I'm not a doofus.
I've got loads of bags for life, which I think defeats the object.
Exactly. You've got bags for this life and the next. But 5 pence, what? I really couldn't care less. But if this is the best thing the government can do, up yours, Dolores.
Not Dolores, but Stella Creasy.
Oh, she's the lady from The Apprentice, isn't she?
No, she's from Labour.
She's the Labour lady, yeah?
You're thinking of Stella English.
Who sued,
The Sugar Man.
Yeah, the Sugar Man.
I liked her. I thought she was great.
Yeah, I thought she was great.
Anyway, Stella Creasy is apparently according to the Mail, embarrassing Ed Miliband by saying stuff like, women will have to breed for Britain if we curb migration because we won't be able to fill the jobs.
I'll help, but I won't face the consequences. So yesterday, I put forward this, and the Mail have obviously been listening. I said the new Queen of Spain is hot.
Yes.
I said that our future Queen of England, Catherine, is also hot. Mm-hmm. They should have a hot off. It's exactly what the Mail have done. They've done that thing where they found women who look a little bit similar, wearing almost similar clothes or in slightly similar poses. It's like what they did with Posh Spice and Cliff Richards last week.
Normally they do it with Anyone and Lady Di, don't they?
Yep.
Just echoes of the past.
Who'll be Queen of Style? She looks and dresses so like Kate, with just a touch more panache. But Spain's new Queen has far more skeletons in her closet.
What, she got married before?
Yeah, it's a shame.
I think it's a shame that all they are is outfits, according to the Mail.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, they're good for them. Justin Bieber's a naughty boy, isn't he?
Very. When will he stop being a naughty boy?
When will he ever learn? I think we know when he'll stop being a naughty boy. When, well, let's be honest, when he dies.
You think?
He's
to a sticky end. He's
heading that way, isn't he?
Well, his dad seems to join in rather than curb his behaviour, and his mum seems very nice and all, but...
What is wrong with pop stars at the moment, all right? I don't want to sound like an old man.
Here we go.
Justin Bieber throwing out the N-word, and I'm so sick of hearing the N-word. Why don't people just say the N-word instead of the N-word? But Justin Bieber throwing out the N-word like it's nobody's business... And Rihanna, she's not even dressing like a prostitute now.
She's not wearing any... I mean, next stop, bum out.
Put a brassiere on, you flipping floozy. She's wearing a suit made out of diamonds. Yeah, all right. But she's got no bra on. You can see everything.
Do you know what, though? I can't remember what her last record was called.
Is she a singer?
Yeah.
Blokes will never again be able to say, I wonder what Rihanna looks like naked. Just a pair of pants was all that covered her modesty at a top fashion do.
But the weirdest thing is, it's not really blokes that are buying her records, is it? So...
I'm trying to send Kelly a picture, sorry.
On WhatsApp?
Yeah. It's the right email address, isn't it?
Email?
Yes. Yeah, so, you should get that shortly, Kelly.
You can text it to me if you want.
Shall I? Oh, right, OK, wait a minute. How do I do that?
Shall I
shall I message it to you?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
What's your number?
Well, I'm not going to... Shall I put it in your phone?
Go on then, you do that then, go on.
Okay.
Oh, hello. Travel time? Travel news? They're there. Weather. Are you doing the weather today, Kelly?
Yeah.
Right.
Are you?
Are you dialing in now?
Yeah.
Good.
It's not connecting though. I might have to read it myself.
Well, it's rainy, isn't it, today?
Yeah, you've done it.
Yeah, there you go.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 London bound, there was an accident between junction 10 for Luton and 9 for Redbourne. Very slow at the moment with delays back to junction 11 for Dunstable and the speed signs set to 40. Then the M40 northbound between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and 3 for Loudwater. One lane is closed after an accident and it's slow through that area. Also had an update in from Andrew on the A40 London bound. Between Long Lane and the Polish War Memorial, one lane is closed. That's after an accident, and it's causing congestion back to the Swakeleys roundabout. Public transport, the Northern Line has severe delays between High Barnet and Camden Town, with minor delays on the rest of the line. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Alice. Right, 6:46 or thereabouts. It's Wednesday, the 4th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis, with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. But many residents say little has changed. A 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening. And today's Queen's speech will include proposals for a 5p charge for all carrier bags from supermarkets and other large shops to be introduced from autumn next year. Coming up, let's get a bit of the weather, shall we? I have not a clue who with.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, good morning there. It's going to be cloudy with long periods of rain. Now today, cloudy with periods of rain, turning heavy at times, mainly light winds. I'm feeling rather chilly, especially across the Chilterns. Ooh. Maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius, that's 59 degrees Fahrenheit. I know some of you like your weather in Fahrenheit. Tonight, cloudy with long periods of rain, heavy at times at first. After midnight, drier conditions will move into the south as the rain becomes mainly light and intermittent further north. Minimum temperature 8 degrees Celsius, 46 degrees Fahrenheit. And that is your weather.
Imagine a radio station with no music.
What's your favourite biscuit?
Imagine a programme without conversation.
Listen to me, I'm really important.
Imagine an afternoon with no local stories.
Hundreds of miles away, something really impressive is happening.
Sounds pretty boring. Which is why we have Nick Coffer.
BBC Three Counties Radio, Nick Coffer, here until 3 o'clock.
Every weekday he'll bring you the music.
Gallagher and Lyle, I want to stay with you. Every breath you take, that's the police.
The conversation.
His dedication to local musicians has led him to starting Papermouth.
And the local stories.
Today we're going to be looking at the work of the Bedford and Milton Keynes Waterways Trust.
Say no to boring afternoons and listen to Nick Coffer. Weekdays from midday here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Can I get that trail as my ringtone, please?
Once I believed that when love came to me, it would come with rockets, bells, and poetry. But with me and you, it just started quietly and grew.
Mama Cass. I call her Cass Elliott.
Didn't like it.
Didn't like it. Cass Elliott.
Don't call me Mama.
Don't call me Mama. The only one left is Mama Michelle.
Oh.
No shame. Well, it's not
What
a shame.
happened to the other two?
They all died.
Well, yeah, I got that, but what happened? How?
John Phillips became the songwriter became the biggest junkie in the world, the biggest junkie in the world, and went to prison for. No, he didn't go to prison. He got in really big trouble for he was faking prescriptions to get drugs. Very sad story.
Wilson Phillips' dad?
Sure, why not? And
I think he was.
Yeah, he was. And then Michelle Phillips is the one that's live. That's their mum.
Yeah.
And then Denny Doherty just died, didn't it?
Music's sad though.
And it's sad. And it's sad. Kate's in Harperton. Music's sad, isn't it, Kate?
Well, yes, but it's also quite useful because it makes... Because I've got a bit of a complaint, actually, because I'm trying to dry my hair.
Oh, yeah.
And I just need you just to be quiet for like 8 minutes or so I can dry my hair. Just stop being funny and interesting and conversational.
You've called up BBC Three Counties Radio, not Heart. You know that, don't you?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Can we just put American Pie on or something for about 8 minutes long?
Not a chance in it. Why do you... Listen, here's the thing I don't understand. Why do girls bother drying their hair? Men don't dry their hair. There's no need to dry your hair, Kate. Just tie it back in a bun.
No, we've got more hair to go wrong, haven't we, Kate?
Exactly. And if I tie it back in a bun, then when I undo it, it's going to look like a strange experiment to contact outer space.
Do you wear glasses, Kate?
I do when I'm reading.
This is what you need to do. You need to. Do you have a partner?
No.
Right, I'm going to get you one. This is what you do, right? You're in a library, you've got your hair tied back, you're wearing glasses, you're reading a book, right?
Yeah.
A handsome young man, or a lady, I don't know which way you swing, it's none of my business, but a handsome person that you admire and respect and want to get with walks in. What you do, you lower down your Catherine Cookson, with your right hand, you unbun your hair, and at the same time, with your left hand, you take your glasses off, you give it the flick, boom, Kate, you're in!
Yes, and if I haven't dried my hair before I put it into a bun, I'll look like Shirley Temple.
Yeah, it'll go pew, pew.
Yeah, there's the thing. All right, listen, Kate, in that case, do you reckon you can get your hair done by 7?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna shut up. We're gonna shut up just for you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Off you go, Kate. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Should we play James Blunt or something?
No. We're just going to be quiet.
Okay. I don't know whether I can.
I know you can't, but we're going to do our best to be quiet.
5 minutes.
Sorry?
Quiet, 5 minutes.
Got something to say.
We can't say anything now. Kelly, can't say anything now. 5 minutes of quiet.
Why are we doing this for Kate?
She needs to dry her hair, for God's sake.
Yeah, but I know, with the greatest respect, I know she's Kate in Harpenden, but beyond that, Matt...
She needs to dry her hair.
Kate, if you're listening, just stick your head upside down and do it. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's good when girls do that. Or dry it with tongs.
No,
you're
singed. You're singed terribly.
Matt, listen, I'm really
call
sorry.
Back again and say we're not being quiet and she can't dry her hair.
Matt, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
I don't know.
Why is he here? I
had a dream.
Supposed to be being Justin.
I had a dream.
But
I've got a thing for you to go out on.
Right, okay.
Here we go, work.
Plastic bags.
The Pope, who says things all the time, said another thing.
Right.
Pope Francis yesterday criticised childless couples who put second homes and holidays before having a family and instead showered their love on their pets. What he's saying, Matt, is have children nor pets or you'll end up lonely.
Right.
Says childless Pope.
What are you typing, mate?
Kind of have to be childless. So I want you to take it to the streets and ask, kids or pets?
Right.
Pope, have children.
Pope, no have children. Pope.
No pets.
Pope, have children, not pets. Kids are pets.
Pope, no have children. Pope, no have bunky bunky.
Right.
Pope, no do that.
Right.
Shouldn't.
So, can you...
That Borgia Pope did. He was all over the shop.
They
Filth bag.
Didn't care less.
Jeremy Irons.
So, Matt.
Yeah.
Instead of typing it...
Yeah.
Could
Kids
you
or
go
pets?
out and do it?
Yeah.
Just stop people and say, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Kids or pets?
Kids are pets. Just kids are pets, simple as that.
Just simple as that.
They want to know what
No,
I'm
not
on
to
about.
Kelly. Not to Kelly.
They want to know what I'm on about, but kids are pets.
Kids are pets.
Kids are pets.
Okay.
See where we go.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give myself half an hour.
What?
What, before you go?
While I'm going.
Okay. Ta-ra.
Right, bye-bye.
Who are you texting?
Nobody.
Boss, I think.
Why is he there? Go!
He's writing himself a note.
Yeah.
It's kids... Pope, kids or pets? That's it. That's all you've got to ask.
Kids are pets. Yeah, I'm going.
What's best, kids or pets, if it makes it easier?
What's best, kids or pets?
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking for you, really.
Yeah, that's better. That's
public
the
will
one.
get it.
I've got it now. Well done.
Go on. Still not gone. Having a last drag. That's my brew. And he's taking my cup.
You get more northern when you're with Matt. This is another reason I don't like him.
I think we start signalling to each other.
No.
Just gave me the head nod as he left.
It's gone now. I can start talking like that.
I don't understand why he's... Where is Justin? Has he been suspended again? And why is Matt replacing him? And Matt's not allowed to drive the radio car. Or actually allowed to broadcast radio.
The equation, 1 Justin equals half a Matt, I think.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
Well, if we had a full Matt, if we could get him radio car trained, he might make a bit more of a Justin.
Do you think this is being boring enough for Kate to dry her hair? Probably. If she's not dried it by now...
I've got another one.
Go on, what you got?
Daily Mail.
Yeah.
You know they said diabetics. Oh, they're a massive strain on the NHS.
Hates those diabetics.
With their problems.
Yeah, their diabetes.
This is the Mail saying this, not us, by the way. Now they're saying, rise of the 100-year-old puts NHS under strain. Stop getting old, everybody.
Yeah, no, this is true.
Very irresponsible.
This is true. We're living longer, so it's costing the NHS more. The NHS can't cope. I do think, genuinely, that there is an argument that once you're over 90, you shouldn't receive free medical care on the NHS.
Why? You might have been perfectly healthy until your 89th birthday and you've paid in all your life.
No, but it doesn't work like that. It's not like a bank that you dip in and out of. You're paying for now. It's like the pensioners who say, oh, well, I've paid for my pension. No, you haven't. You've paid for someone else's pension. I'm paying for your pension now. That's what's going on. You've not paid into your pension pot to get your state pension. I'm paying into your pension pot at the end of July.
Yes, but in the great circle of pension payments, you are paying for your own. Because you pass it forward.
Of course you're not. You're not paying for your own. You're paying for the generation ahead of you.
And then the next lot should pay for you.
Yeah, I'm paying for them. That's what I'm saying.
So who's moaning?
No one's moaning. I'm just saying that if you're 90 plus, maybe that is because I'm getting hot. So I'm getting hot. I'm just saying if you're 90 plus, maybe you shouldn't get free NHS treatment because it's an anomaly that you've lived that long.
So what are you going to do? Stand outside A&E and say, no, too old, off you go, back home. Or, can I see your bank details, please, sir?
Perfect.
Wow.
Why not?
You're cold.
No, I'm not cold, Catherine. I'm a realist. We cannot afford to treat everybody on the NHS. Cue Steve in Dunstable phone up saying, well, we've got all these immigrants. We haven't got that many immigrants that are abusing the NHS system.
Many of them are actually keeping the NHS going.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think you're wrong.
Well,
Carry on, though, but...
Oh, wait, well, let's put it out there. And let's get the support from sensible-minded listeners, shall we? 08459 455 555 is
my grandma's about to turn 90. I'll just give her a ring and break the bad news.
Well, let's just keep our fingers crossed she doesn't get poorly.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 London bound, between junction 10 for Luton and 9 for Redbourne, there's been an accident. We've had an update in from Stephen. It's very slow in the area with congestion now going back to junction 12 for Flitwick. The M40 northbound between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and 3 for Loudwater, there's a lane closed after an accident. Also had a phone call from Andrew. The A40 London bound, one lane is closed between Long Lane and the Polish War Memorial, causing congestion back to the Swakeleys roundabout. Public transport, Northern Line has severe delays between High Barnet and Camden Town, with minor delays on the rest of the line. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Alice. If you want to see how tiny my team are compared to me, who is of normal height, follow us at BBC3CR or at Iain Lee on Twitter. We'll put it on Facebook as well. The women who work here are tiny. I'm only 5'10".
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: residents question police crackdown in Houghton Regis. Man still in custody after baby dies in Hertfordshire. And complaints over disabled access at Bletchley train station.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. 3 bikes have been crushed and social services have been called in after grown men were seen riding with small children. But after a street full of cars had their tyres slashed at the weekend, many residents say little has changed.
It's mainly outside Tesco's at night, gangs of lads and that, you know. I choose not to come down here in the evening, yeah.
So there's still a lot of improvement to go. Motorbikes sort of going wheelies everywhere.
A 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening. A 51-year-old man from St Albans was released yesterday. Hertfordshire police say no further action will be taken against him. Today's Queen's speech will include proposals for a 5p charge for all carrier bags from supermarkets and other large shops to be introduced from autumn next year. More from Chris Mason.
The hope is that by charging 5p, it'll put us off either using carrier bags at all or tempt us to reuse them or use slightly fewer than we might at the moment. Now, the government says that it's not a tax. The money won't pass through the Treasury's coffers. Instead, it'll be a mandatory charge that the companies have to levy, and the hope is that they will then pass it on to environmental charities.
The Home Secretary, Theresa May, has written to the Education Secretary, Michael Gove, questioning his department's handling of allegations that fundamentalist Muslims had been plotting to take over schools in Birmingham. An independent Muslim school in Luton has been criticised by Ofsted inspectors. Their report into the Olive Tree School will be published shortly. Passenger groups say there have been broken promises over better facilities for wheelchair users at Bletchley railway station. The Marston Vale service, running from platform 6, can only be reached by an uncovered flight of 36 steps, despite funds being spent on improving access. More from Ewan Duncan.
The rail service from Bletchley to Bedford uses Platform 6, which, despite some improvements, offers limited access for wheelchair users and the disabled. Rail company London Midlands says it's unable to switch the service to Platform 5 permanently as it's used by freight trains and trains moving on and off Bletchley Yard. But Platform 5 can be used if London Midlands give an advance notice by wheelchair users. The company says the forthcoming East-West rail link will provide another chance to improve access at the station.
The new Terminal 2 at Heathrow Airport is welcoming its first passengers this morning after a major £11 billion redevelopment. The terminal will open in phases to avoid a repeat of the chaos at the new Terminal 5 6 years ago. In sport, England's cricketers lost the 5th and deciding one-day international to Sri Lanka by 6 wickets at Edgbaston, and Andy Murray faces the Frenchman Gael Monfils in the quarter-finals of the French Open tennis today. The weather cloudy and wet with rain for much of the day, a maximum temperature 16 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
People wander and you'll see all those characters are out from time to time.
And all this week we're featuring Stony Stratford.
It's got that feel of a real community. It's not an estate, so it's got kind of the history.
It's all about where you live.
Been here 25 years. Can't see why I would want to move.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. We've managed to get rid of Matt Lockwood. We've sent him out on the street, so I do apologise. If a strange northern man approaches you, then,
If you see him, can you ask him for my brew back, please?
Yes! Coming up in the show, hell on wheels in Houghton, rubbish rail service for the disabled, and a dog with a difference does his bit in Bucks. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
We can talk about this bin bag. I keep saying that, this shopping bag thing as well. It's annoying me.
Right.
And it's not annoying me that they're charging for bags. I'm not one of those people, oh, it's an outrage, I'm paying for my shopping. Charge if you want. I really couldn't give a monkeys. But I don't believe their reasoning behind it. It's not to stop people using bags. Hey, if they wanted to stop you using bags, they'd charge £1 or £5.
Or just stop having them.
Yeah, that's how they would do it. So I don't. So what is it? Is it kind of a sop to the kind of the liberal Greens who want us to stop using plastic bags? Is that what it's about?
I have no idea. I just feel like it's either wrong or it's right. If it's so
Sorry?
wrong...
What does that... let's investigate further. What does that mean?
It's wrong, but if you pay us enough, you can carry on doing it.
Right, exactly. But is this going to change your shopping? Are you going to get... I hate those bags for life,
Well,
those
I've got
Hessian...
loads. You can have one of mine if you want.
I don't want one.
I just keep buying those.
I'm not my mother. I'm not going to take out one of those sort of flowery canvas-style bags that you fold up and put it in your handbag.
Got a trolley as well.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've got one of them granny trolleys. It's brilliant.
When I used to deliver free newspapers, I used a granny trolley. I got beaten up for it once.
Well, no one would mess with me.
No, I'm up for the trolley. I'm all for making the shopping trolleys hip again.
If you've got two kids that walk, it's the best way, because otherwise you've got no hands free, have you? So one of them holds the handle of my trolley and the other one holds my hand. And I've not got bags tearing into my delicate
I just know what would happen with my boys. They get in. You've seen the video of my youngest holding onto the back of a suitcase when we were on holiday.
And I've seen the other one trapped in tights. But I don't believe that was completely his own work.
The eldest he found some of Mummy's tights and he wanted to put them on, and we put them on, and I tried to get them over his head.
Yeah, you only managed over his shoulders, but quite frankly, that was enough.
It was enough. Does your girls do this, right? When I want to take a picture of my boys now, they've gone through they don't do that anymore. What they do is they turn their back to me, wiggle their bum in the air and go... Do your girls do that?
No.
It's so rude. Stop it. Take a picture, and then they'll stand there and then just wiggle his bum. You'll do that.
You've just done that to me twice. That was quite enough.
One more time and we have to get married. 08459 455 555. We can talk about the shopping bags if you want. I don't quite get the reasoning behind it. And also, that's the biggest thing that the government can come up with. The government, when your country is full of people who are having to use food banks, people who are on 0-hour contracts, the best you can do is plastic bags are going to cost 5p. 08459 455 555. Now, at the end of April, we heard some pretty depressing stories from our big tour in Houghton Regis. There were various problems. The town centre was dodgy at night, drug dealers, prostitutes operating openly in Tithe Farm, and teenagers being loutish on motorbikes. But the thing that most of our contacts had in common was that they'd given up calling the police because nothing ever got done. Well, the officer in charge of the area listened, agreed that wasn't on, and promised we'd see some significant changes within a month. It's now been 6 weeks. We will speak to that officer a little bit later on in the show. Joined first of all by Jenny. Morning, Jenny.
Good morning.
Now, Jenny, you were telling us about these kids on bikes being a right pain in the what's-it, weren't you? What were they doing?
They drive all round the park. They just put their foot down and go. They don't care about anybody there. The playing fields behind the leisure centre, they're always there. They mess up the ground, and they're a complete danger. They drive along pedestrianised areas where kids are playing, and one day one of the kids is going to get hurt or killed.
Now, we've been told that Houghton Regis, that the police there are working on this. They've crushed 3 bikes in the last week. Have you noticed things getting any better?
No.
Oh.
In fact, they're getting worse.
Really?
Yes, because we've just had half-term, and the bikes have been appalling. And if you phone the police, all they're interested in is, are they wearing helmets?
I'm sorry to laugh.
No, that's what I feel too.
So not they're causing a nuisance. They're being a danger to themselves and to other people, and they're kind of bombing old people and all of that. Are they wearing helmets?
Yep.
You were one of the people, if I got this right, Jenny. Had you given up on calling the police?
I have until yesterday afternoon, when we were in the playing fields, me and my dog, and there was a bike there. And it was a big bike. It wasn't one of the little bikes.
Was this a bicycle or a motorcycle?
Motorcycle.
Motorcycle, yeah.
A big motorbike, actually.
Mm.
And he was going all round the field. And I phoned the police, dialed 101. And do you know what? I got no reply.
At all? No one answered?
No, I got this message saying, your call is very important to us, or something like that. And we'll answer you. And they never did, so I gave up.
How long do you think you were waiting for?
About 2 or 3 minutes.
OK, we'll be speaking to Sergeant Linda Wilson a little bit later on in the show. We'll certainly put that point to her. What would you like to see done, Jenny?
I would like to see the police have a presence in the park and in the playing fields and catch the kids with the bikes, because they are dangerous.
Jenny, I appreciate your... I do hope that we can speak in a couple of months' time and you'll say, hey, everything's fine and the police are out there and it's stopped and it's a wonderful place to walk the dogs. I've really got my fingers crossed that will happen at some point.
I don't, because when we get to the summer holidays, especially the end of the summer holidays, the children are bored, so they're out on their bikes all day.
Jenny, listen, we will be monitoring this, and maybe we'll talk to you during the school holidays to find out exactly what's going on. Well, if you remember as well, we also spoke in April to Ray Kempson, who was the local cricket club's groundsman, and Ray joins us again now. Morning, Ray.
Hi, you okay?
Yeah, you were having it was motorbikes again, wasn't it, riding across the cricket pitch?
Yes, that's right. We get them across there, and we also now we're getting them along the roads. We're free on a bike. And no crash helmets.
no crash. I know. Isn't that amazing? That's what the first police question. Are they wearing helmets?
No, they wasn't.
So
no.
You were having a problem with kids bombing across the cricket pitch just during the week, but also during cricket matches as well, weren't you?
Yes,
ruining the pitch.
Yes, they were. They was doing that as well. Yes. When I was on the cricketers last Friday, they done exactly the same. As soon as they see you, they laugh and they just go straight past you, and you can't do nothing about it.
And you said it's getting worse.
Well, yeah, they're still about. They're not stopping them at all. They're still there. They're going down the main roads now, and they just don't care anything that was coming along the road with them. They just fly down the roads.
In fairness to the police, is there anything realistically they could do, Ray?
Well, I think they should bring back the dirt bikes, because no way can the police catch these boys and that what are on these bikes, because they go along the little alleyways and they just can't catch them.
Do they? Are there any CCTV cameras there or anything like that? Is there any way of recording their number plates?
Well, they don't have number plates.
Oh, of course.
No, what they do, they pinch a lot of bikes as well.
Right,
and as soon as they finish with them and they've run out of fuel or anything, they set light to them.
Oh, classy.
Yeah, that's the good thing, and we have to pick them up afterwards and clear up the mess.
There was, you may or may not know this, there was talk of the cricket team being booted out of the league.
Yeah, there was, yes, I did know that.
Do we know if that's progressed any further?
I don't think so, as far as I know, because at the beginning of the season, we've only had one lot of kids on holiday, haven't we? It's when we get to the summer holidays again.
It's the summer holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, and then that's where it's going to really hit, but we still get them whatever way it goes.
Well, Ray, listen, if we're going to be speaking to the police officer a little bit later on, who said that things would have improved, certainly in Bedford Square and around that whole region.
Yeah.
We'll be speaking to her a little bit later on. Maybe, Ray, if it's all right, we'll speak to you during the summer holidays and see how things are going.
Yes, that's okay, that's no problem.
We're not going to leave you alone, Ray and Jenny. We're going to keep our eye on this. Don't worry, OK?
OK.
Thank you very much indeed. So summer holiday is the time when we need to be following this and seeing exactly what's going on. Well, 08459 455 555. If you're aware of this, if you've seen any of this, and we will be speaking to Sergeant Linda Wilson a little bit later on and finding out exactly what she thinks is going on. On the subject of plastic bags, I don't want to do a thing. Oh, it's awful. Oh, no, we should get. I spend enough money in the shop. I should get free plastic bags. I don't charge us or what. I don't care. But if you want it to stop using the bags, charge us £5 for the plastic bags. Or don't stock them. Don't have them at all. Ken in Redbourne says, I've heard that a bag for life takes 1,000 times more energy to produce than a plastic bag. Therefore, unless you use a bag for life 1,001 times, they are environmentally more harmful.
Ah, the Prius argument.
But also, the plastic bags, they don't really last, do they? They're...
No, but then you can take them back and get a new one.
What?
The bags for life ones.
Can you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's the whole point. So if you get a hole in it, you're supposed to be able to take it back. Who does? I don't know.
I don't think that works.
I use them at Christmas because they've got good handles.
But no one uses plastic bag. What do you use the handles for?
You know, if you've got Christmas presents, you don't want a flimsy plastic bag.
No one uses plastic bags once, do they? Everyone's got the drawer in the kitchen that's stuffed full of the plastic bags.
I use them as bin bags.
Yeah, use them as bin bags. Use them to put dirty nappies in.
I use them to put other plastic bags in.
You've got it, exactly. It's constantly being used. Constantly being used.
Plus, they don't last forever anymore.
No.
If anyone's ever stored plastic bags, you'll know this. It happened to me once. I thought that we had mice.
Yeah.
Because they just crumble
Yeah,
after a certain amount of time.
And she's miming the crumble.
The crumbling.
Everyone knows the universal symbol for crumble. It's
Yeah.
that. 08459 455 555. It's BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel now with Alice.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 London bound between junction 10 for Luton and 9 for Redbourne. There's been an earlier accident and it's still very slow on the approach with congestion starting around junction 11 for Dunstable. The M40 northbound between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and 3 for Loudwater. One lane is closed following an accident and it's slow going on the approach and through that section. The M25 anti-clockwise very heavy between junction 21 for the M1 and 16 for the M40. Then also the A40 London bound between Long Lane and the Polish War Memorial. One lane is closed, very slow on the approach with congestion starting at the Denham roundabout, so really adding to the normal morning delays. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Alice. It's 7:16. It's Wednesday, the 4th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis, with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. But many residents say little has changed, and some are even saying it's got worse. A 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening. And today's Queen's speech will include proposals for a 5p charge for all carrier bags from supermarkets and other large shops.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Recognise this. What about this? And this? Do you know what they all have in common? They were all filmed locally in Elstree, and on Friday I'll be live from Elstree Studios to celebrate 100 years of filmmaking in the area.
There was always different stars coming in and out. That was always nice about that. Every week there was a guest star, so that was lovely.
You'll hear from some of the biggest names as we celebrate the stages and screens of Hertfordshire.
You absolute traitor, you're a terrible traitor to work at Elstree.
Celebrating 100 years of film and TV making in Elstree and Warrenwood, Friday afternoon from 3 here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I hate Elstree, and let me qualify that. I can qualify it. I was there yesterday, okay? I was in my dressing room at Elstree yesterday. I used the lavatorial facilities to evacuate myself. Okay?
Down the line.
Sorry?
You evacuated yourself?
I had to. I had a Nando's spicy chicken.
Wow, OK. Too much info.
For the first time. I've never had Nando's chicken. Beautiful.
Well, you didn't have it for long by the sounds of it.
Anyway, I blocked the toilet.
Oh.
Right. I blocked the toilet.
In Nando's?
No, in my Elstree dressing room. Rob may want to use this story on his show on Friday.
Yeah.
So I blocked the toilet, right? So, got the toilet brush out. Nothing. Now, I've got two boys. I'm used to dealing with blocked toilets. So, watch came off. Sleeve was rolled up. And what you do is you've got to look away because you don't want any of that water splashing in your mouth. That is out of order. Arm down. But it could get on your lip and you'd lick your lip instinctively. Arm is up there. I can't find anything. I've got no purchase.
What?
Huh?
Is the bowl full at this point?
Yeah, it's up to the top.
And your hand?
Oh. What's your beef? So my hand's up there and I'm feeling nothing, because normally when you're unblocking a toilet, you'll know this, fellas, there'll be something there that you can pull that gets rid of the blockage. Beautiful. No, nothing. Instead, you know what happened? It started coming through the drain on the shower.
Oh.
How are those two even connected?
Sometimes they are, the waste pipe.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the waste, I'm not going to say any more, but you know what I mean when I'm talking about waste, ladies, was coming up through the drain of the shower. And Roberto thinks it's appropriate to go and celebrate this hellhole on Friday. I disagree, Mr. Perrone. I disagree very strongly indeed.
What happened then?
Well, I had a young lad working for me, and I said to him, the toilet's blocked. It wasn't me. And then then loads of people kept coming in from Elstree. Fair play to Elstree, they tried to sort it out. Loads of people kept coming in and having a look, and I was saying, don't have a look.
It sounds like a cross between train spotting and the enormous turnip.
So this lovely woman came in and she opened it, she went, oh my God, I've never seen anything like it. She actually said that. And then she brought me a mug. She did, she brought me a mug. She brought me a mug to say sorry. I dropped the mug in the car park on the way home and I broke it, so that's that.
It's a really good story.
No, if you'd have said that story, Kelly would have been all over you like a rash.
Kath, did that happen to you?
No, I'd never be so disgusting.
Oh, that would have been brilliant if it did.
So this is why I've got a beef with Elstree, okay? And I'm back there on Thursday, guys.
It's not the beef, it's the peri-peri chicken.
Exactly. It was so delicious, though. I mean, I would risk that again.
Is it worth it, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they still unblocking it now, or did they solve the problem?
I once blocked...
You don't have to answer any of the questions I asked.
I once
you don't
blocked
have to continue this conversation.
a whole Greek island.
Oh, you can't mess about with the toilets in
This
Greece.
is the thing, okay, and I'm really sorry to do this. Normally we try and stay above the waist, but listen, we're all human beings. Even the Queen does it, right? Okay?
You don't put the toilet paper down, though, in Greece.
No, this is it.
Do that?
When you go to a Greek island, you do not flush the toilet paper down the toilet. You put it in a little bin next to the toilet. That is disgusting.
It's rule number 1 of going to the toilet in Greece, though.
Every now and then, though, I'll treat myself and I'll flush the toilet paper.
And then what happens?
The whole of the Greek island collapses. They haven't got the water pressure to sustain flushing water. It's so... Because we go to Greek island every flipping holiday. I'm probably not going this year, but we go every holiday. And the first time I was told that, it was the most disgusting thing ever.
Have you ever done it accidentally and then had to get it back out?
Right, I'm calling in time on this one.
08459 455 555. I'm sorry, you know this show, dear listener. We tend not to go below the belt, below the waistline, OK? We like to, we're tops off, sure, why not? But that's it. But I just felt we had to discuss those very, very important issues. If Roberto's doing a show from Elstree, which no doubt will be all puff and bluster and isn't it wonderful, well, I just want you to know the truth about what goes on in Elstree. Now, rail travel is still inaccessible for many disabled people, despite £100 million worth of recent investment by the government. We've been hearing examples of improvements not going far enough all morning. People still have to negotiate a flight of stairs if they want to use the Bletchley to Bedford service, for example, and that's a station where improvements have been made. Joined now by Phil Marsh, who edits the website rail.co.uk. I was stammering there slightly, Phil, because when they write the scripts for me, and I was reading that bit, when they write down a website, instead of putting the website address, they actually write the words rail.co. And it confuses me slightly. I'm not used to seeing it like that. Phil, were people's expectations too high, or were they misled about how much difference this £100 million would make?
Well, I think they must have been misled because one of my railway colleagues, because I still work on the railways part-time, he did a lot of the safety checks for the new track layout, and that was 2 years ago. And the works, as many listeners will know, were carried out 18 months ago. And I checked with him a few days ago, and he said, yes, everything was designed for trains to run into Platform 5 at Bletchley, and that if they were to do that, it would have no effect on the timetable, so it wouldn't delay trains. But they still go to Platform 6 as a matter of course, where you've got 36 steps in the open air. Now, it's not just disabled passengers, but of course they don't get a choice. It's, I use Bletchley quite a lot, and you can see young parents carrying buggies up those stairs. And that's not really on either.
It is hugely frustrating. We've already taken a couple of calls this morning from people who find that the whole situation at Bletchley frustrating. But are we expecting too much? I mean, some of these stations are incredibly old. There is only a finite amount of money. Do we just have to accept that? Do you know what? It's going to be a little bit tricky for some people. Disabled people, people with buggies. It's going to be tricky for some people.
It's going to be tricky for some people, but funding is not the issue in this one. I mean, the government have done a fabulous job in this Access for All station project. It really is good. Look at Leighton Buzzard, for example. They're having lifts put in. Back to Bletchley, At the Bedford-Bletchley Rail Users Association annual meeting on April the 2nd, London Midland were there, and they had the I don't go below the belt, as you've just talking about.
Yes, thank you.
We didn't. They said they had asked Network Rail if Network Rail could run the trains into Platform 5. Network Rail said they couldn't do it. And when I've talked with colleagues in the industry, apparently Network Rail would like to keep the line at Platform 5 available for freight trains so they don't delay other passenger trains.
So they're putting freight trains above the needs and concerns of some of their passengers?
Absolutely, and it's wrong because the money has been spent at Bletchley. Let's be very clear, it's not a funding issue. The money has been spent there. The design for the new track layout, they've lengthened the platforms, they've got new track there. It's all been done, very good, and we've got the massive investment for the East-West Link coming up in the next few years. London Midland claim they cannot get Network Rail to run the trains there. And, London Midland, when they were challenged about it, all they said was at the meeting, in front of an audience of about 70 people, we are fulfilling our contractual obligations for our customers. And someone said, who's that? And they said the Department for Transport, not passengers.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Not passengers. And they've just been awarded the new Thames Link Southern and Great Northern franchise.
Money to improve disabled access also spent at Wolverton Railway Station, not a station I'm particularly familiar with. Is everything okay there?
Wolverton is very historic. It's 175 years old last year. There's lots of details on wolverton175.co.uk. The local council and other organisations managed to get a new station built there 2 or 3 years ago. That cost about £3 million when the original budget was about £350,000. But it's a new station building, not a new station, and there is no disabled access apart from on the London platform. So if you want to go to or from Northampton, you're stuffed. You have to go to Milton Keynes or get a taxi to Northampton.
Saying this, people are still... lucky is perhaps the wrong word, but once you get into London, man, if you've ever tried to get around with someone in a wheelchair on the London Underground system, you don't stand a chance. I think there are something like 7 stations that are wheelchair-friendly.
I think there's a lot more now.
Is there more now? Okay, yeah, it's been a while since I've done it.
There's a lot more because I've been doing quite a lot of railway work in London, and that's involved doing some sort of silly journeys. But you just notice on the Underground that the announcements are there is step-free access at this station.
Okay.
So that is, it really is coming along very, very well, but not at some of our local stations where the money's been spent and it's done for purely operational reasons. Phil,
great to talk to you as always. Thank you very much. Phil Marsh edits the website rail.co.uk. It always confuses me when the website is written rail.co.uk.
Why does that confuse you?
Because why can't it just say rail.co.uk instead of rail.co.uk? It's easier for me.
What, to write the word dot? Or to actually put a dot?
To put a dot.
Okay.
Because the word dot is written, so it says rail.co.uk. If it were written rail.co.uk, then
I know, you're criticising my writing, fine.
I am doing that, yes.
Well, now I know that that's the thing, so I will avoid it in future.
But why would you do it anyway? Why would you write, when it's rail.co.uk, why would you write rail.co.uk? I don't know why you would do that.
Well, maybe that's just one of the many differences between you and I.
I remember the first time I ever saw a website address in an advert. It was on a billboard. It had been for Mars. And I remember thinking way back then, and this was in the 90s, wow, that's a little glimpse of the future. I actually thought that. I thought, what's a little glimpse of the future there? It was like looking through a future portal.
And it was true.
And it was true. So in many ways, I invented the internet.
Yes, you're the...
What's the glimpse of the next future? What do you see in this future?
It's not a power I can turn... It's not actually a power, it was a poster. Spotify.
Isn't that now?
MySpace with Tom.
Oh, I bet he's feeling quite lonely now.
I think Tom may have, once...
choked?
Yeah, once Facebook kicked in.
No, I bet he's moved on. He was a good-looking guy.
Oh, he had so many friends, didn't he? Hey, if you haven't been through MySpace for a while, go through it. It's like walking through a ghost town. There are internet tumbleweeds blowing all over the place.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
London bound between junction 10 for Luton and 9 for Redbourne, there was an accident. Still making things very slow with congestion back to junction 12 for Flitwick. On the M40 northbound, there's a lane closed between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and 3 for Loudwater after an accident, also making things slow through that section. Major problems on the A40 London bound today. Between Long Lane and the Polish War Memorial, one lane is closed. Very slow with congestion back onto the M40 to the M25 junction. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Bedfordshire Police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. 3 bikes have been confiscated and crushed, but some residents say the situation has got worse. A 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening. Hertfordshire-based Tesco has reported sales down 3.7%. A third successive quarter of falling sales. And today's Queen's speech will include legislation to encourage pension saving and a compulsory charge on plastic carrier bags.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers lost the 5th and deciding one-day international to Sri Lanka by 6 wickets at Edgbaston. England were all out for 219 and there was controversy with Jos Buttler run out at the non-striker's end after being warned for backing up too far. Here's England captain Alistair Cook.
I mean, he had warned him, and to be fair, it wasn't as if he was sprinting down the wicket and they were taking twos and stuff. But in letter of the law, they're all entitled to do it. But there's a way of doing things, in my opinion.
Andy Murray faces the Frenchman Gael Monfils in the quarter-finals of the French Open tennis today. Murray first played Monfils when they were 10 years old.
It's going to be an exciting match. I'm sure there'll be some fun rallies. There always is when I've played against them, but we haven't played against each other for quite a while, so I'm looking forward to it. I've never had any problems with him ever in all the... I've known him 17, 18 years now. I've never had any problems with him.
Also today, Rafael Nadal faces David Ferrer. Yesterday, Novak Djokovic and Latvia's Ernest Gulbis booked their places in the last 4. And England's footballers play their first of 2 World Cup warm-up matches in Miami this evening. Roy Hodgson's side face Ecuador with an 8 o'clock kick-off our time. Frank Lampard will captain an experimental England side with James Milner at right back. Lampard likely to retire from international football after the tournament in Brazil.
Well, it looks that way. I find it hard to get the words out to say that it is, because I'm very proud to play for my country and I've loved every minute. So who knows what happens. I'd rather comment on that after, to be honest. So we'll see. Let's hope we have a big successful World Cup and then I'll comment on it after.
BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Some texts about bags. What are you going to do about bags used on deliveries? Oh, yeah. In your face, government. The reason we're talking about this, front page of the Daily Mail. At last, plastic bags will be banished. They won't. That's misleading. Shoppers will have to pay 5 pence for plastic bags from next year. This is the big announcement coming from the Queen's speech today. Okay, she's travelling to Parliament in a brand new horse and cart. And the big thing that the government is doing with all of the food banks, all of the poverty, all of the cuts and changes to benefit, the bedroom tax, spare room subsidy, whatever you want to call it, people on 0 hours contracts, so it looks like the unemployment figures are down when actually they're not. The best thing they can say is, yeah, we're going to charge 5 pence a carrier bag. Oh, goodness. Is that it? That's what you got? No reforms to the health service, no reforms to immigration, no reforms to... That's it! Andrew says, what are they going to do about used bags on deliveries, as the customer has no say over how many are used? Also, in New Zealand, we found they don't have any bags in their supermarkets, which was a right pain. I tell you what you don't get now, and you used to get. You don't get it now because it's a fire hazard. Used to get it in my B-Jams on the Farnham Road. There would be like a sort of... an area that was fenced off. You remember this, Kath, but this was big up north. There'll be an area in supermarkets that was fenced off, full of boxes.
Oh, yeah.
At the front of the shop. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And they got rid of it because it's a fire hazard. It's a fire... Well, you're not going to run it. You're not going to be playing with lighters by it, are you? Because everything... This desk is a fire hazard. It's made of wood. Your hair is a fire hazard. It's made of hair. Everything's a fire hazard. They can't have the boxes there anymore. It's a fire hazard.
But people used to use them and recycle them.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew has signed this. Andrew, G-O-G, High Wycombe. What does G-O-G mean?
Snoop Dogg.
No, G-O-G. Good.
Old guys. Good old gays? Gay old guys.
Guys.
Good on goo. Going out gone!
I don't know, Andrew. What does it mean?
I think it's either gay old guys or going out gone. It's one of those two. I'm putting my money on. Kelly, what would do you think it might possibly be?
Great. Old. Graham's.
It could be.
Like he likes the cereal.
Yeah, great old Graham's.
Green old Gillies.
OK, well, let's find out. Andrew, do text in. We literally cannot wait. And Matt from Luton says, with the bag tax, I'll expect a slight decrease in prices as the supermarkets must account for the cost of a bag now. Also, if the supermarket donate the bag tax to charities, isn't that a write-off against tax, so they will pay less tax at our expense? Bad idea. Steve's in Redbourne. Morning, Steve.
Morning, mate. How you going?
I'm all right, thank you, Steve. What would you like to say?
Well, you were talking earlier on about the old people, you know, when it gets to 90-year-old, you know, don't give them any...
Well, listen, I just think, in this day and age, I'm not saying we should necessarily do it, I'm saying we should look at all possibilities. The story in the paper is that because people are living longer, people who live to 100 are costing the NHS far too much money. People are living longer and longer and longer. We can't afford it. So one theory I've put out there is that once you get to 90, you shouldn't get free NHS treatment.
Well, on the film Judge Dredd, do you remember what they done to them there? They sent them into the wilderness, didn't they?
Oh.
So we could send them all to Cornwall, couldn't we?
We could send... I mean, that's where most of them end up anyway.
Yeah, but they've got cliffs there, so if they feel, you know, like they're not wanted, they could just walk over them then, couldn't they?
I'm not for once... Steve, please, you get me in trouble. I'm not for one second suggesting we condone them to jumping off cliffs like lemmings, but that, you know, that we should just consider how our money is spent.
Yeah, it could do. Another thing as well, you know, you was on about the Pope having kids and that. What was the name of the man on Father Ted the cardinal?
Oh, there was a cardinal.
Little child.
Yeah. I can't remember.
He was good. I used to like that.
He was good, and I used to like that too. Here's the thing. What are lemmings famous for, Catherine?
A computer game in the 1990s.
Apart from the actual... I know what you're talking about. Good point. Well done.
Plummeting
Respect.
off cliffs after each other.
Yeah.
They don't, do they?
They don't do that. But there is footage of them plummeting off cliffs. There's a documentary from the 50s made by Disney of them plummeting off cliffs. Do you know how they did that?
They set dogs upon them.
Yeah, they forced...
Did they really?
I don't think it was dogs. They herded them off. They herded them off. It's a myth.
Uncle Walt.
It's a myth made by Walt Disney that lemmings... Of course lemmings don't jump off cliffs. Well, otherwise, how would there be lemmings? They'd all be dead.
I just thought it was natural wastage.
Kelly, do you know what a lemming is?
Yeah, I do, but they're not real, are they?
Oh, yeah, they are. Although, saying that, I couldn't describe one to you.
Like a meerkat thing.
Sure.
Oh.
They are real. What?
Oh.
My sister did one of those on me once.
What, push you off a cliff?
No, she didn't believe a buffalo was real.
Wow.
She said, I thought it was made up like a gruffalo.
Gnu's are real.
Yeah, they are very real.
Kelly? Gnu's are real. Do you like gnus?
I've been in one.
Seriously, do you like... I like gnus. Do you like gnus, the animal? Yeah?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Been
real.
in one.
No.
No, I have.
OK. Ramesh, do you like gnus?
No, I don't, mate.
Why not?
I don't know.
What's your beef with the gnu?
Yeah.
Yeah?
All right.
OK. Ramesh, you've not called in about gnus, you've called in about lemmings. No, not lemmings, bikes.
No, bikes, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, they've been riding in the parks and cricket grounds and so and so. Monday afternoon, I went to drop somebody at the L&D, and I was just going down Leagrave High Street there. You know, you hear this racket there, this youngster coming on the motorbike, lifting his front wheel up, playing the stunts. You know, when school finishing time there, you know, the road was full of traffic there.
Yeah.
And he's like a snake here and there, you know, just coming down to Leagrave. Then after a few minutes, he turned around, going back to Luton Dunstable, doing the same thing there. Then he slow down on the traffic lights. Of course, everybody stops, when you hear the noise.
Yeah.
And he got no respect for the law there, he's just doing whatever he likes.
Did you say he was driving around like a snake?
Snake, yeah, here and there, like behind the cars, on the footpath, 1 minute, in and out, in and out. No, that shouldn't be allowed, you see. I mean, they're talking about they're doing it in the park, they're doing it on the public road.
Well, this is the thing. That you say they shouldn't be allowed. Of course, they're not allowed, but yet young people still feel they can do this. What needs to be done, Ramesh?
I don't know. The trouble is that the law is too soft there, you see, that they got to be punished.
Tranquilizer darts?
That's why they get away with the murders in this country here. Yeah, something got to be done. That's known.
Ramesh, thank you very much indeed. It's a good point, well made. What a wonderful description. It was all over the place like a snake. What a great description, Ramesh. Thank you very much indeed. My tongue is slightly in my cheek when I say tranquilizer darts, but is there really any difference between a tranquilizer dart and a taser? If you listen to JVS, you know he's got the hots for tasers. A little bit too much. I suspect he needs some psychological profiling. But you've got thugs like this going around on their motorbikes like snakes. Something needs to be done, doesn't it? Now, going back to the call we had earlier on, I've got an email here about this from Jill. Iain, what would you do with those over 90s who, like your mum, she's 63, have had to use all their money for a home? What about those who've worked all their lives but their savings have run out through no fault of their own? What about those who are servicemen and women who fought for their country, and this will include the Middle East in the future? Would you exclude them? Many over pensionable age struggle financially through no fault of their own. Are you going to turn them all away and have a two-tiered medical system like America? Surely your argument is flawed. No, my argument is getting stronger and stronger by the minute. Every accusation you throw at it, Jill, makes the argument stronger. Listen. The story is the rise of the 100-year-old puts NHS under strain. And I'm not saying this is necessarily what should happen. But if people 90 and over didn't get free medical treatment, right, they'd go to the doctors less, wouldn't they? And we know if you've ever sat in a doctor's surgery or in a hospital ward, it is full of very, very old people who perhaps, and I say this with respect, who perhaps don't necessarily need to be there. So you'd instantly cut that wastage, and if they couldn't afford it, I mean, I'm sure there are some chores that could be found around the hospital. 08459 455 555. Peter's in Wolverton. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Ian. Please be with you.
Thank you, Peter. It's exactly what's required today. What have you got for us?
Well, you was talking earlier about Richard Branson and glass floors, etc., in aircraft.
Yes.
I attended a lecture a few months ago regarding the future of passenger aircraft.
Oh, yeah.
And there could be no windows in future passenger aircraft because they're very expensive to install and the engineering needed is very expensive. However, within the fabric of the aircraft, screens will be placed that look just like the walls, the floors, the ceilings, etc. That will be photosensitive, and you can see what's going on the outside.
Isn't that wonderful?
Incredible.
Well, we could take this a step further, Peter. So you've got no windows, you've got little screens. They could project anything on it. They could project that you're underwater or in outer space.
Absolutely, but they won't be little screens. No. It'll be the whole wall, floor or ceiling, not just little screens.
One of the coolest things I've ever seen, and I'm really disappointed in the Japanese for so many reasons, but this one in particular. They invented this about 10 years ago. It's awesome. I would have thought the technology would be affordable now. They have made a jacket that makes you, ladies and gentlemen, invisible. Invisible. It exists, Peter. It works.
No, it doesn't exist.
What?
It's a jacket that acts as a projection screen.
No.
So they just put the scene they're shooting from behind onto your front. That's why it looks like you're see-through.
No, exactly. Well, it doesn't matter how it works, Catherine. It makes you invisible. Kelly?
Doesn't it just make the jacket part invisible so you still see your legs and head?
Well, yeah, but then you could get a whole seat. The way it works, Peter, is Catherine explained it, but I'm going to do it with panache, is that in the back there are like millions of tiny little cameras, okay? Millions of them.
No. There's one.
and it projects onto the front what is behind you, so you become transparent.
It sounds pretty amazing. Imagine everybody wearing that. There'd be chaos in the house.
It would be brilliant. Imagine if everyone was wearing it, and cars were covered in it, and houses were covered in it, and Kelly was covered in it.
But if everybody was wearing it, then everybody would be seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
So, because it would just reflect it's just reflection, isn't it?
I'm totally Googling it. Look at it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Kelly, I'm going to send you... Right, look, there's a video of it. Invisibility breakthrough for Japanese researchers. This is in 2009. Why the hell haven't I got one of these bad boys?
You can make one.
No, you can't make one. It's not that simple. Peter, thank you very much indeed. You've started an argument between me and my team. It is absolutely amazing.
Get a white lab coat.
Cover it in tinfoil.
No, you don't need to do that. Make it as white as possible, then shine a projection on it.
Right, I'm sending it to you.
All you'll see is your head floating.
Right, I'm sending it to you, Kelly, because this is... it would be great, wouldn't it, Dennis? Oh, for goodness sake. What is going on with his blooming phone? Dennis!
Oi, shut up.
What?
Right, Manchester that, but keep quiet. Right, how do you know I'm not stood behind you right now?
That's a good point. Let me check while we get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A40 London bound, there's one lane closed between Long Lane and the Polish War Memorial. It's after an accident and it's very slow on the approach with congestion back onto the M40 to the M25 junction. On the speed sensors, the A5 southbound, slow going between Kensworth and Redbourne. Then we've still got some problems hanging around on the M1 London bound. There's an accident between junction 10 for Luton and 9 for Redbourne, and still very slow back to junction 12 for Flitwick. The M40 northbound, one lane closed between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and 3 for Loudwater after an accident. Public transport, though, no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Alice?
Yes?
Can you settle an argument, please?
I'll do my best.
We were talking about the German motorcar racer. I can't remember his last name. It's Nicky... Nicky
Smith.
Nicky...
Thomas.
Nicky Lauder.
Yes.
No. Nicky...
Quieter.
Oh, bum. Didn't work as quiet as I was expecting. Hang on a second. Matt, we're just talking about the German... Good to see you back, by the way. Looking forward to hearing your package.
It's all right.
We're talking about the German racing car driver, Nicky...
Oh, louder.
We're talking about the German racing car driver, Nicky...
Louder.
Do you get it?
Have I done it right?
In some ways, no. 7:47. It's Wednesday, the 6th of... the 4th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis, with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. 3 bikes have been confiscated and crushed, but many residents say the situation has got worse. Hertfordshire-based Tesco has reported sales down 3.7%, a third successive quarter of falling sales. And a 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday morning.
Beds, Herts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's a rather grey, damp and wet start, and it's going to be a grey, damp and wet finish as well. This rain isn't going to go too far at all very quickly. Some heavier bursts mixed in there as well, and underneath all this cloud, it really is going to have an impact on the temperature. We're looking at a maximum later on today of 14, maybe 15 Celsius if we're lucky. Now, this rain continues overnight. Eventually by dawn, it should start to become a little more intermittent, fizzle out a little bit, some drier spells forecast for that point. But the minimum temperature probably down to around 8-9 Celsius. Now for tomorrow, we will have a bit of cloud around first thing, but it will clear quite quickly and things start to recover. Thankfully, a ridge of high pressure builds in. We'll have a warmer day with some sunshine and the maximum getting up to 18 Celsius. For Friday, a much muggier day. We're pulling in this warm, moist air from the south. And then for Saturday, the Met Office has already issued a weather warning for heavy downpours, some thundery downpours, sharp showers, thunder, lightning forecast, especially as we head through the morning. That's your forecast.
Every weekday morning.
My show's called The JVS Show, 9 o'clock in the morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
I deal with the consumer problems that affect people all over Beds, Herts and Bucks.
And I said, well, I didn't come all this way to be looking at a broken down hotel.
Those companies, those councils, those organisations that are letting people down.
This guy turned around and said to me that they're not prepared to pay me, and I said, so you're forcing me to take action. And he said, good luck, and put the phone down on me.
I get my teeth into them.
Oh, Jonathan, I'll start crying soon. We don't know what to do.
Deal with them and hopefully get results for you, the consumers.
And it got so convoluted, I thought there's only one person who can sort this out.
The JVS Show on BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
That's a telephone number if you want to give us a call. You're more than welcome to. Now, an animal story. Roberto's gonna kill me! Carolyn Gattenby from Buckingham has diabetes and often suffers extreme and sudden drops in blood sugar that can send her into a coma. Thankfully, she also has a specially trained assistance dog by the name of Simba. Well, recently, Simba saved Carolyn's life. Carolyn, have I got it right? You are a Carolyn, not a Caroline, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Caroline.
Carolyn, excellent. Tell me about Simba. What's so special about him and what happened?
Right, well, Simba is my guardian angel. When my sugars drop, Simba will alert me so I can sort myself out.
But how does Simba know?
It's all to do with my odour. So he can tell when my sugars are going high or when they're going low by the way I smell.
Really?
Yes.
Is this a wind-up, Carolyn? Because that's incredible.
No, it's not a wind-up, it's the gospel truth.
Now, I'm assuming that Simba's got a particularly sensitive smell. We couldn't smell if you were feeling a little bit poorly.
No, you wouldn't really notice any difference about me. It's just Simba who would.
Isn't that amazing? So what happened? How did Simba save you recently?
Well, I have a lot of problems with sudden drops within my sugar.
Yeah.
And Simba always alerts me, but sometimes my sugars drop so quickly I can't respond quick enough. So the other night I was on my way home at the bus stop and I just went into a coma. And obviously Simba had alerted me, but I wasn't quick enough to respond. So in place of that, he started barking and crying for any oncomers who was coming past me. And he got attention from 2 people who came and helped me. They got an ambulance, sent me to hospital, and I came round on the resuscitation.
Oh my goodness! You say it
table.
so so calmly, Carolyn, but this sounds awful.
Well, when you look at it, I'm such a blessing because I've got a wonderful dog.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there who may not have lived to tell the story.
Is it true, Carolyn, that some people walked past you while you were in this state?
Well, from what I can gather, yes. I mean, obviously I was in a coma, so I don't understand any of that. But the thing is, people think that I'm drunk when I'm going into my coma.
Right, OK.
So they just think that, well, it's her fault, leave her up to it.
Oh, dear.
But because Simba's got a coat on and we're actually barking, licking me and making himself known that I were in desperate need, that's how some people came to my rescue. you.
Carolyn, stay there, because I want to talk to you about something else in a second, but we're joined now by Simone Branch, the Client Liaison Manager at Medical Detection Dogs, the charity that brought Carolyn and Simba together. Well, this is an amazing example of just how important these dogs can be, isn't it, Simone?
It is. I mean, it's a huge reminder to everybody at the charity here that the difficulties that our clients face on a daily basis and how extreme they actually are. And as Carolyn so rightly said, you know, Simba gives his alerts, and unfortunately with people who have these very severe cases, they're not able always to have the time because their blood sugars drop so rapidly.
How do you train a dog like Simba, and how does he not get confused by other smells that are all around him?
It's phenomenal.
I'm struggling to... I mean, of course I believe it. I don't suspect you're lying. But this, I'm struggling to comprehend this. It is incredible.
It's really based on the fact that dogs have such a natural ability, and this natural ability that I think we're all aware of, maybe not quite so aware of how good it is their natural, incredible sense of smell. And yes, Simba will be picking up on a huge amount of smells that us as humans aren't aware of. But what we have to do when we train dogs to help people with these very severe conditions is when he shows a recognition of an odour, and for example it will be Carolyn's hypo odour, we ensure that he understands that when he smells that it's a positive thing, and he gets a very, very high jackpot reward. And we build on the recognition that the dog gives in terms of the smell that they're picking up on. And their alert is their way of saying to the person, I want my treat now because I smell that really special smell. And that's the basis of it. And of course, a huge amount of it as well is the fantastic bond that we share with dogs. And I think everybody could understand that.
Well, if Simone, this would be perfect if you could train cats to do the same thing. I'm more of a cat person, I'm afraid. I'm imagining there's a shortage of dogs, is there? 'Cause these must be very expensive to train.
It is. And to make it clear, we're part of Assistance Dogs UK, and they're the coalition group that support, for example, charities that people will be much more familiar with, such as guide dogs and hearing dogs for deaf people. Yeah. And as other organisations and charities, we are limited to be able to place these special dogs because of funding and, you know, the reduced resources that we have. And I do have up to, 100 people probably on the application process, and 30 people in similar situations to Carolyn awaiting to be partnered with a dog.
Carolyn, how does it work? Simba's with you for life now, is he?
He's with me all the time. Wherever I go, Simba comes with me.
It must be a fantastic... must also be great knowing you've got something there to protect you and look after you, but also must be good companionship as well.
That's right. He's given me my life back, you know, so I can live it to the fullest now.
Well, it's a wonderful story. Carolyn, I hope you don't mind, but we've got... I've detected you have an accent. Is that right?
Yes, I'm from West Yorkshire.
There we go. We have lots of Northerners working on the show this morning. Matt was curious as to where you were, weren't you, Matt?
Yeah, don't tell me yet, Carolyn. I live in West Yorkshire myself as well, so can I throw some places out and you can tell me which way where you're from?
Don't
tell me now. Let me go through a list. Batley.
No.
Dewsbury.
No.
Wakefield.
No.
Heckmanwike.
No.
Liversidge.
No.
Thornell.
No.
Ravensthorpe.
No.
Ossett.
No.
Brighouse.
No.
Oh. Right. I've run out of place names.
You beat him, Carolyn. Where are you from?
I'm from Keighley.
Keighley! That was Keighley or Pudsey. That's the next one, isn't it, Keighley?
Oh, local and vocal. Carolyn, it's absolutely marvellous to talk to you. You've been a very good sport, and you know, give Simba a big treat from us. I don't know what that treat would be. Maybe a doggy biscuit or a bone.
I'm sure it will be a nice biscuit.
Good for you. Well done, Carolyn. Thank you very much indeed. And Simone Branch, Client Liaison Manager at Medical Detection Dogs. Thank you very much to you as well. Matt's furious.
I'm annoyed.
Don't be furious.
It's a popular one.
I thought that was going to be an amazing bit of regional... The first, second, maybe even third go he'd get it. He went through a list of 15.
No, Bradford. I put Bradford on there as well.
But it wasn't that.
No, I know.
It was like the Yorkshire version of Kokomo.
I was going to go to South Yorkshire as well.
Keighley, no.
Sheffield was South Yorkshire.
We sent you out earlier on.
Yes.
To get some audio asking about pets or kids.
Yeah, Pope tells married couples have children, not pets. People were furious. What's the Pope saying?
That's his notes.
How dare he?
Right, OK. Did you get that audio?
I did get that audio.
No, don't spoil it. It's something to look forward to in the next hour, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
OK. Do you know how I like to listen to my audio?
Right.
With a nice cup of cough.
Right. I'm just finishing off this bird bar that Catherine gave me.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Major problems on the A40 London bound this morning. Between Long Lane and the Polish War Memorial, one lane is closed after an accident. Very slow on the approach, with congestion starting back onto the M40 at the M25 junction. On the speed sensors, the A1M southbound very slow between junction 9 for Letchworth and 7 for Stevenage. Also ongoing problems on the M1 London bound. There was an earlier accident between junction 10 for Luton and 9 for Redbourne, and it's still looking slow through that area with congestion back to junction 12 for Flitwick. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. A round of applause and a pat on the back to Catherine Boyle for coming up with the Northern Kokomo. Well done. Why did nobody do that in the late 80s? Let's get the news with Simon Oxley. More coming up after this.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, the headlines. Residents question police crackdown in Houghton Regis, another fall in sales at Tesco, and complaints over disabled access at Bletchley train station.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis with the help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. 3 bikes have been confiscated and crushed. Social services have been called in after grown men were seen riding with small children, but resident Jenny told Iain she feels things have got worse.
Yesterday afternoon, when we were in the playing fields, me and my dog, and there was a bike there, and he was going all round the field, and I phoned the police, dialed 101, and do you know what? I got no reply. I got this message saying, your call is very important to us, or something like that, and we'll answer you. And they never did, so I gave up.
And Sergeant Linda Wilson from the local policing team in Houghton Regis will be speaking to Iain after this bulletin. Hertfordshire-based Tesco has reported sales down 3.7%, a third successive quarter of falling sales. More from business reporter Guy Kilty.
Positives from the results. Tesco says it's pleased with the customer reaction to recent price cuts, but it does say the retail market is still very challenging. These results today make up a second consecutive day of bad news for Tesco. Figures yesterday showed their market share was down to a 20-year low as it continues to lose ground to its rivals, with some figures even suggesting Tesco's losing as many as 1 million customers every week.
A 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening. A 51-year-old man from St Albans was released yesterday. Hertfordshire police say no further action will be taken against him. The Queen will today outline the coalition's plans for the last session of Parliament before next year's general election. The Queen's speech will include legislation to encourage pension saving and a compulsory 5p charge on plastic carrier bags. Passenger groups say there have been broken promises over facilities for wheelchair users at Bletchley railway station. The Marston Vale service, running from platform 6, can only be reached by an uncovered flight of 36 steps, despite funds being spent on improving access. Rail company London Midland says it's unable to switch the service to platform 5. Richard Crane is from the Bedford to Bletchley rail users.
All the work was done and completed last year, and then they come up with a whole load of excuses that they require the tracks through platform 5 to be kept free for the possible need of a through freight train. Our observations are that is very, very few and far between indeed on that line.
In sport, England's cricketers lost the 5th and deciding one-day international international to Sri Lanka by 6 wickets at Edgbaston. And Andy Murray faces Frenchman Gael Monfils in the quarter-finals of the French Open tennis today. The weather, cloudy and wet with rain for much of the day, a maximum temperature 16 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It has everything you could wish for. Good shops, character, life, nice people.
It's all about where you live.
There's lots of people around that we know. There's a really good sense of community.
And all this week, we're featuring Stony Stratford.
It's got character and you'll find something to do if you want to join in.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 4 minutes past 8 on Wednesday. Fantastic. That means it's virtually the weekend, guys. Virtually the weekend. Lots coming up between now and JVS at 9, including Hell on Wheels in Houghton, rubbish rail service for the disabled, and this thing about the 5p plastic bags. I don't get it. Really, what's it going to achieve? If they want us to stop using plastic bags, then either make them a £5 a pop or take them away. Ban them. And is that really the best policy the government can come up with at the moment with everything that's going on? Oh, yeah, there are families that can't feed their children and there are people on 0 hours contracts. Let's make plastic bags 5p in the shop, shall we, guys? High fives all round. They send someone off to get donuts. 08459 455 555 is the phone number.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Don't forget, you can give us a call about what we're talking about, or anything you fancy, really. Dearie me. Now, back in April, our big tour landed in Houghton Regis, and people told us the area had very serious problems. Bedford Square was becoming a no-go area. Drug dealers, prostitutes were operating openly in Tithe Farm, and teenagers were tearing around on motorbikes with no respect for anyone or anything. Worse still, people had stopped calling the police because nothing had ever seemed to be done. Well, the officer in charge of the town told us we'd see a significant change within a month. Well, it's now been 6 weeks, and Sergeant Linda Wilson joins me on the line. Morning, Sergeant.
Good morning.
How's it been going since we last spoke?
Progress has been made, as we hoped it would, in some areas, and there is more progress to be made, and other areas need more attention.
What's this about? You crushed 3 motorbikes in the last week. What's that all about?
We did. As you know, and I rightly agree, nuisance and dangerous motorcycles in Houghton Regis are the bane of the residents' life. They are dangerous. They are, it's not going to be long before accidents occur. And as a local policing team and as a force, we're keen to get the message out there it's not acceptable and do what we can. And that was 3 bikes that youth had no reason to be riding, had been riding in manner that caused the public to call us, and the bikes were seized, and last week we took them and we had them crushed.
Is crushing them the best thing to do? I tell you why, I saw a great story last week about a police service that was selling kind of repossessed goods on eBay to make a few quid.
I think all forces have a auction site of found property, but motorcycles, some aren't roadworthy. There are no current schemes that we can donate them to, and we don't want them falling back into the hands of the people that are riding them. So once all checks have been completed, that they aren't reported stolen, we can't find the legitimate owners, they are crushed.
OK, well, that makes sense. Linda, have a listen to this. We sent our reporter to Bedford Square yesterday. Here's what people said.
Mainly outside Tesco's at night, gangs of lads and that,
Do you think is it a bit of a no-go area in the evenings?
I choose not to come down here in the evening, yeah.
And as you say, you're not really seeing any signs of improvement at the moment?
No, I can't say so, no.
Well, yeah, that has improved over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Night time is the main one.
Would you feel safe coming down here of an evening?
Well, at night time, no, I don't.
A little bit of it is improved, but still a lot of improvement to go.
What sort of problems do you see here?
Motorbikes sort of going wheelies everywhere, and just kids, doing bits and pieces.
Linda, what do you reckon?
I think, one, it's positive to hear that 2 out of the 3 residents there have seen some improvement.
Yeah.
And as I say, it is in progress. We're not saying the problem's fixed. Houghton Regis has a population of over 17,000 people. There are going to be groups of youth. That's not going to change. But what we want to change is those groups of youth intimidating.
How have you done it, Linda? What have you been doing to change things?
Well, since we last spoke, we've had a problem-solving group, which is a multi-agency approach, where a lot of actions were agreed and it was very well attended. And people like the council, the youth centres, social services, housing, all took away. We all sort of bang our heads together to see what we can do and then monitor that progress. We're not sitting on our laurels. It is an ongoing progress. We will continue to monitor it. And we've put on, from a policing perspective, we've put on extra patrols. We've been round to all the businesses and residents in Bedford Square, because there are residents that actually live in there as well. We've done a letter drop. We've followed that up. And we are doing everything we can to try and encourage reporting, and so we get a full picture of the issues that continue.
Now, you mentioned reporting. We spoke to Jenny earlier on, who said that she saw some idiots riding around on motorbikes where they shouldn't have been. She called the new... Is it one... I get confused with all these new numbers. 101, is that the new...
It is indeed.
And she was on hold for 2 or 3 minutes, being told that her call was valued, but no one picked up.
Yeah, and obviously I can't speak about specific calls, but we do get a high volume of calls into the control room. They are aware, improvements have been made, more staff have been taken on there, and we would encourage people to continue reading. I appreciate it's frustrating when you're held on hold, but they will be dealing with immediate threats to life and property whilst that call is on hold. So they don't do it just to irritate, I promise.
What's this about these idiots? I call them idiots quite openly. They're using small mopeds to get under barriers.
Any specific barriers, sorry?
Well, no, we've been heard that there are people using those small, I guess those mini moto things to kind of, get into places where perhaps bigger motorcycles would struggle.
Yeah, along with the general issue of the dangerous motorcyclists, we do have the mini motos as well as some of the off-road bikes and, everything in between, unfortunately.
There was a story recently, the other day, a street full of cars had their tyres slashed. I guess you're never going to be able to stop that kind of stuff. If there are plums out there that want to do this, they're going to do it, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm totally aware of that area and that incident. There was a high volume of cars with their tyres slashed in an act of pointless wanton vandalism. An isolated incident, fortunately, and one that is very difficult to police because it is a one-off mindless act. So, yes, I would agree with you. Unfortunately, there will always be those mindless people who think that's a good way to pass time.
Linda, listen, you said you'd come back on, and you did, and I always appreciate that, and it sounds like you really are making efforts to move it in the right direction, so thanks very much. Maybe we'll have a chat over the school holidays, because that's what a couple of people have said that's when things really kick off again.
Maybe we can.
Vague. I like your vagueness. Linda, nice to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. That's Sergeant Linda Wilson. Non-committal. I like that. But we'll chase her. Don't worry. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Wowzers. Gosh. Wowzers indeed. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call about any of the things we're talking about. So, see, there'll be some radio presenters this morning saying, the 5p plastic bags is outrageous because I'm doing all my shopping and I'm paying for so I should get the bags for free. I couldn't care about that. I couldn't really care. I don't mind paying 5p for a bag. Yeah, whatever. I just can't get my head around the reasoning. The government says it's to stop us using plastic bags. Well, there are two better ways of doing that. You either charge a £5 for a plastic bag or you outlaw plastic bags. That's how you do it, isn't it, Matt?
Precisely, because if you're doing a big shop, maybe you're spending 40, 50 quid a week, and you buy 5 plastic bags to put all your shopping in. I mean, 25p, I mean, really?
Yeah. Just a yes or no would have sufficed there?
It's not going to work now.
OK. And also, you know, there is so much going on in this country at the moment in terms of poverty, the spare room subsidy, people having their benefits changed, disabled people losing their benefits when perhaps they're entitled to them, people on 0-hour contracts where they're not guaranteed work but they're taken off of the unemployment figures. Surely the government, if this is the best announcement the government could come up with, well, it's not particularly imaginative, is it, Matt?
No, but they've only got a year left, haven't they? So, save the best policies for after the general election.
Again, just a yes or no would have sufficed there.
Really? Well, you know, is this what you do to Justin Dealey? Is this what you do? Is it because I don't call you boss? Oh, what's up, boss? You all right, boss? Why did you call you boss? You're not his boss, are you? You're not my boss. Anyway, some nice pictures on Facebook, isn't there, Kelly? There's a video on there as well. Yeah. You're all smiling there, aren't you? Ian's very tall, Kath's short, and Catherine's a bit shorter.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call this morning. Please give us a call this morning. Otherwise there'll be more of him. Is he still banging on?
He's still talking.
Please call us. Can I do the phone number? I love it. 08459.
No, you can't. It's my job.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A40 London bound between Long Lane and Polish War Memorial, one lane is closed, really causing major problems this morning. It's very slow on the approach and causing congestion back onto the M40 to junction 2 for Beaconsfield. On the speed sensors, the A1M southbound, very slow between junction 9 for Letchworth and 7 for Stevenage. And in Kings Langley, the A41 is queuing from the Hemel Hempstead turn-off as you head towards the M25. The M25 itself, anti-clockwise, very slow between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Alice. It's 8:15. It is Wednesday, the 4th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis, with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. 3 bikes have been seized and crushed, but many residents say the situation has got worse. Hertfordshire-based Tesco has reported sales down 3.7%, a third successive quarter of falling sales. And a 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening.
BBC Three Counties Radio. BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
There's lots of people around that we know. There's a really good sense of community.
Inviting everyone to where you live.
Got the nice high street, which is really local, so everything you need, really.
It's one of those places that has retained its character and will hopefully continue to do so for many, many years.
And all this week, we're featuring Stony Stratford.
It has character, life, everything you could wish for, and you think you're in a village but you're still in Milton Keynes.
If you've got a story everyone should hear about, let us tell them about
it's a time
it.
where people want to work together to make the best of what we have.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
Stony Stratford, this is the place to be.
From BBC Three Counties Radio.
Fair play, that lady at the end sounded like she had a gun pointed at her head. Stony Stratford, this is the place to be. Please let my children go. Hey, here's something that will age you. Guess what happened, Matt?
Right.
29 years ago. 29 years ago today. What happened?
That could be anything.
Well, it's... OK, it's something very, very specific.
Again, that could be anything.
OK, but it isn't anything. It's something very, very specific in world history.
Is it historical?
Right. Yes, hence the world history... And it happening 29 years ago. Something very specific happened. This will surprise you. 29 years ago today. I'll give you a clue.
Right.
You're not allowed... Don't Google it.
No, I'm not.
I'll give you a clue. You're not allowed to talk about it in China.
Oh.
I tell you what, let me do the World War I thing, and then we'll come back. We'll give you a couple of minutes to see if you can work it out.
Sex before marriage?
OK, that really... Wow. It's an amazing anniversary, and I was surprised it was 29 years ago. Honestly, don't let him Google it. Don't let him Google it.
I know now. Tiananmen Square.
Tiananmen Square! Tiananmen Square. Tiananmen Square was 29 years ago. Isn't that amazing?
No, it is. There was a special report on, I think it was a 10 o'clock news last night.
OK.
A good job.
I've been to Tiananmen Square.
Right.
It was boarded up when I went there. Oh. Those Chinese really don't like talking about it, do they?
No.
Do you remember Tiananmen Square, Kelly?
No, I'm too young.
You were born... No, you were about 1 when Tiananmen Square happened.
I was minus 10 years.
Wow, that's insane. Isn't that incredible? It's 29 years ago, and I'll talk about it in China. There you go. Another anniversary. This year marks the centenary of the First World War. It was a time when the Allied forces and the Central Powers were both in a race to develop technology that would give them the edge. In 1916, a secret weapon was sent to the grounds of Hatfield House in Hertfordshire to give senior military figures an idea of what it could do. It obviously impressed them, and when the Germans eventually saw their first tank, they ran away. Well, Tara Gungerful has been to Hatfield House to find out more about the tank demonstrations that took place there.
Hello. Hello, Lord Salisbury. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Come and sit down.
This is a letter from Winston Churchill, dated the 2nd of April 1919, to my great-grandfather. And he was writing at the end of the war, after the end of the war, because the initial trials for the first tank had taken place in secret at Hatfield Park at the beginning of 1916. And it reads, "My dear Salisbury, it would give the Army Council and myself very real pleasure if you would consent to accept one of the original tanks to put it in your park at Hatfield. I need not say again what my predecessors and I have felt as to the immense help you gave the government when the tanks were at first a matter of experiment, by allowing us to make trials in secret at Hatfield, and I thought you would perhaps like to have one of the earliest types as a memento of the days when we were allowed to make free with the privacy of your grounds. Yours sincerely, Winston S. Churchill." We loved playing in it. Everybody played in it, and it was a great feature of Hatfield life until the early 70s. Even for a small boy, it was very cramped, indeed. There were sort of holes in it. I mean, one of the doors had fallen off, I remember. And they'd taken the engine out. The guns were pretty wonky on the side. Everything was rusted up. And there were a lot of sharp edges. I remember one used to cut and bruise oneself quite a lot going through. And the noise must have been terrific, because I don't think there was anything except between your head and the steel side of the tank. That I do remember. It was deteriorating very fast, so my grandfather sent it in the early 70s, shortly before he died, to the Tank Museum at Bovingdon, who restored it magnificently and have made it the centrepiece of one of their principal exhibits about the First World War. And it's clearly in the right place. These are extracts relating to tank trials at Hatfield Park in 1916 from a work called Tanks 1914-1918 Logbook of a Pioneer by Lieutenant Colonel Sir Albert Stern. February the 8th, His Majesty the King visited Hatfield when a special demonstration was arranged. He took a ride in the tank and said afterwards that he thought such a weapon would be a great asset to the army possessing a large number. And that's where they dug these trenches, right across the golf course. Can't have done it much good, can it?
No, it can't have done it much good at all, can it? If you'd like to find out more about our local stories from World War I at home, click on bbc.co.uk/WW1. You'll be able to see and hear how World War I changed life in beds, hearts and bucks. And fair play, Matt. You didn't pick up on my deliberate error. Which was? Letting you work on my show. Right. But beyond that, it was 25 years ago, Tiananmen Square, not 29 years ago.
Right. Well, a lot of people like me this morning.
What do you mean? No one likes you?
The callers.
Who?
The hair caller. She would not have rung in earlier if it wasn't for me.
OK, James, what do you've called in support of Lockwood, have you?
I'm in support of you having to grow up and stop bullying your staff.
I beg your pardon. What are you talking about?
I agree.
Stop bullying the callers in a minute.
I see what you mean, what you're talking about, because they're not really your staff, they're your colleagues, and you sitting there silent, you're meant to be local and vocal. Sitting there in silence isn't very vocal, is it?
Disgraceful.
I'm getting the same treatment. How old are you? 5?
Where's Nigel when we need him? Because he wanted Iain sacked after 2 weeks. Iain's still on there.
I tell you, I think CBeebies is more entertaining than Lee, isn't it?
I agree. I'm not here through choice, so...
Is this your community service?
It is, yeah.
I wish you luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your support this morning.
Take care.
Yeah, he's not happy. He's shaking his head.
Is he crying? Is he
I might have just worked my last shift on this programme.
Hey, lucky you. All the others have to stay there.
I know. Kelly, Catherine.
And they're also nice people, obviously working with Lee obviously makes you a nicer person. That's his justice to society. Still silent.
Still silent. Yeah. And he's now making threatening gestures towards me through the glass.
Threatening gestures?
He is,
with his long, slender, lanky arms.
And he's wearing a pink shirt. Need I say more?
All he needs is a wig and a frock, really.
What?
He'd make a good-looking woman, wouldn't he?
Matt, answer the question.
Yes, he would. Yes,
Wouldn't
he would. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I tell you what, James, why don't you exchange phone numbers with Matt off air, and then you can go and be his bestest buddy, and then you can hang out and you can talk about barn cakes and whippets, all right?
It sounds brilliant.
Yeah,
and you can sit there and be silent as usual.
Yeah.
Have a drink.
Yeah.
I know a nice pub in Luton.
Oh, go away, for goodness sakes. A nice pub in Luton? There's an oxymoron. I'm joking, publicans in Luton. I'm joking. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Who's this? Kelly, who have we got? Is this not the real one, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
On the phone?
Yeah.
Matt, all right?
Good morning.
This is BBC's. I was going to say host of Watchdog, but technically not. You're you're sectioned off in the corner of the Watchdog studio. But
I have an enclave of truth.
Sorry.
I'm not saying that there's not truth pervading the programme. What I'm saying is, in my corner, you'll find facts, you'll find truth, and that's what I have to offer.
It's more truthful in that corner.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying that.
You have to be so careful these days what you do say, Matt. Now listen,
be so careful.
You've called in, no doubt, to congratulate me on my recent broadcasting awards.
What was that? What was it, the take a break thing?
You've called in to ask me out for like a showbiz lunch at the Groucho?
No, I don't do that.
What's your beef then, all right?
What is this nonsense on your show? I mean, what this specific nonsense?
Yeah.
First of all, I picked up the Tiananmen Square thing. I was right on that.
Yeah, it was 25 years ago. A little bit of fun there. Getting the dates mixed up. Not the actual event. That was horrific.
And also crushing motorcycles.
Yes.
As you know, I ride a motorcycle. The idea, I'm very fond of my motorcycle. The idea of crushing a perfectly good motorcycle is wrong.
No, it's not wrong, Matt.
Why?
No, listen, if there are yobbos riding around on motorcycles, then they should be confiscated and they should be crushed in front of the yobbos.
Why?
I hate all motorcycles.
They could be repurposed. And recycled.
Repurposed. That's such a BBC management speak.
I'm not BBC management. How dare you?
No, I know, but you've been repurposed. No, listen. All motorcycles, as we know, are the devil's tools. They serve no purpose apart from to wind up perfectly safe drivers in their cars.
No. Now listen, that's not the case. That is just not the case. Are you going to tell a blood biker that his motorcycle is the tool of the devil? Someone that's delivering human organs.
Oh, that's what a blood biker is. I was concerned. I thought it was a gang for a second. Yeah, with the blood bikers.
It would be an excellent name for a gang. You're right. But what I'm talking about is, it is not the tool. You can't blame the tool. You've got to blame the person.
I'm blaming the tools that ride them.
Oh,
that was quick, wasn't it? That was quick and clever.
Listen, if I choose to dress up as a Power Ranger, and ride across the country, then that is my God-given right.
No, it's not. The thing is, though, Matt. Yeah, listen. If you've got a bottle of blood or a kidney in the back, then that's fantastic in your panniers. But if you just want to get somewhere a little bit quicker, not pay the congestion charge and break the laws, then no, I don't think we should have motorcycles.
No one's talking about breaking the law. You watch me tonight on BBC One at 8 p.m. on Rogue Traders. That's BBC One, 8 p.m.
The thing is, if I look for Rogue Traders on the listings, I'm not going to find it, Matt, am I? It's not a proper show.
No, it's like your show. It's a secret show. It's one that people come across and delight in, but otherwise they wouldn't know. Are you still there?
Just about.
It's there, and it counts, and the people that like it.
When are you going to do the Welsh Old Man again, Matt?
Well, we can't afford the makeup anymore.
Oh, man.
I liked him.
That was my favourite thing. I love it when you pop out and you surprise them.
Yeah, well, I still do that. But I'm an ice cream man tonight. Just as the weather's turning nasty, I become an ice cream man.
Without giving away too much, because I don't want to ruin the surprise. What seedy underbelly of ice creams are you investigating? The fact that some 99s don't have a flake?
Listen, actually, there's been some very good stories recently about people selling illegal cigarettes from ice cream vans. Wow. I want to disassociate myself from that kind of behaviour.
Yeah, okay.
But it's more to do with the... Look, just watch. You never watch. But what? Right, and you'll see the ice cream van put to very good use, just in the same way that a motorcycle could do. Are you going to go around the country crushing ice cream vans now? Because some of them sell illegal cigarettes, apparently. Is that the next thing you'll do? Watch the faces of children as you crush their ice cream vans. Yeah. Don't do that, Iain Lee. Don't crush our ice cream vans, please. We can both be silent. There's nothing clever about these. All right, okay, so now I'm going to be silent too, and then you're just going to have silence. That's called dead air, and you won't get any more awards. It's just dead air. It's making me emotional. I'm getting emotional. Yeah. That's BBC One, 8 p.m. Watchdog, Rogue Traders, part of Watchdog. BBC One, 8 p.m. Where's the other chap, Matt? Just put him on. Oh, no. I've got to go. Hold on, what should I say next? Write something down, and I'll write it down, I'll say it. Just keep plugging Rogue Traders, okay. That's Rogue Traders,
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Major problems on the A40 London bound this morning. Between Long Lane and the Polish War Memorial, one lane is closed after an earlier accident. Very slow on the approach, and congestion going all the way back onto the M40, almost reaching junction 3 for Loudwater. Speed sensors showing the A1M southbound queuing at the moment between junction 9 for Letchworth and 7 for Stevenage. Also queues in Kings Langley, the A41 very heavy from the Hemel Hempstead turn-off towards the M25. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
With the headlines, I'm Simon Oxley. Britain's biggest retailer, Tesco, has reported another set of poor trading figures. Sales over the past 3 months were down by almost 4%, the third quarterly drop in a row. Bedfordshire Police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. 3 bikes have been seized and crushed, but some residents say they haven't seen any improvement. The 37-year-old man from Hatfield remains in police custody following the death of a 10-month-old baby boy. The baby died at the Lister Hospital in Stevenage on Sunday evening. And today's Queen's speech will include legislation to encourage pension saving and a compulsory 5p charge on plastic carrier bags.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers lost the fifth and deciding one-day international to Sri Lanka by 6 wickets at Edgbaston. England were all out for 219 and there was controversy with Jos Buttler run out at the non-striker's end after being warned for backing up too far. Here's England captain Alistair Cook.
I mean, he had warned him, and to be fair, it wasn't as if he was sprinting down the wicket and they were taking twos and stuff. But in letter of the law, they're all entitled to do it. But there's a way of doing things, in my opinion.
Andy Murray faces the Frenchman Gael Monfils in the quarter-finals of the French Open tennis today. Murray first played Monfils when they were 10 years old.
It's going to be an exciting match. I'm sure there'll be some fun rallies. There always is when I've played against them, but we haven't played against each other for quite a while, so I'm looking forward to it. I've never had any problems with him ever in all the... I've known him 17, 18 years now. I've never had any problems with him.
Also today, Rafael Nadal faces David Ferrer. Yesterday, Novak Djokovic and Latvia's Ernest Gulbis booked their places in the last four. And England's footballers play their first of 2 World Cup warm-up matches in Miami this evening. Roy Hodgson's side face Ecuador with an 8 o'clock kick-off our-time. Frank Lampard will captain an experimental England side with James Milner at right-back. Hodgson claims he's focusing on the friendlies before the World Cup opener in Brazil.
We'll really start thinking very, very seriously about what team we're going to play against Italy when we start our journey to Brazil, and there's a week, to that game. So at the moment, I prefer to take one step at a time.
BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
JVS joins me in the studio. I don't know if you heard Matt Allwright there from Rogue Traders. Him saying, watch Rogue Traders is a part of Watchdog. It's like saying, watch the adverts, they're a part of Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Really. But he couldn't keep quiet because he's too professional. He could not maintain radio silence. He'd have been awful during the war. He's just too professional, though, you see.
Really?
I'll sit there for ages and say nothing.
Well, I know.
Still get paid.
I know.
We don't get paid per word. Do we?
No, I don't think we do.
Good. I had to ask for a second. I realised I've never questioned that.
Although you say quite a lot of words.
Sorry?
So perhaps it would be better when you renegotiate your contract next time. Perhaps this should be a new way of doing it.
Only 3 months left, yes.
Like, don't secretaries... Do the secretaries still charge per word?
No.
Oh.
Do they? I know that... what's the word?
I don't know.
Think about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dictation.
Dictation, yes.
Yes.
Dictation per word, isn't it?
Yes, that is per word. Yes, or translation services, I think, is per word.
My mum used to do dictation.
Yes.
And, she was up tapping all night, and... She would charge per word.
Really?
Mm.
Good for her. Good.
She had an IBM golf ball.
Hang on a second. What?
Tapping all night. How on earth did you get any sleep?
I loved it, actually. She used to do that when I was a child.
Soothing noise.
And she'd sit in her bedroom, well, hers and my dad's bedroom, and she'd do her typing.
Yeah.
And it was very soothing as children. I still remember that tap, tap, tap of the sound of her typing.
Was it an old typewriter?
She had an IBM golf ball.
Oh, yes, OK. It's one of the early electric
It had a little round ball, and on the ball had all the little letters, and this ball used to whiz around and, do all that all over the paper.
Calm down, I see. Think about memories.
Yeah.
Did it have the pring? Or did you push
No,
I miss all that, you see. Kids these days. Offices used to be so noisy, didn't they? Because it was tap, 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 pring, tap, 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 pring.
Yes.
You just remind me, can I do the first line of my favourite joke?
Given that it's your favourite joke, it's probably a...
He's talking about dictation.
Oh, no.
Can I not?
Do you use a dictaphone? Is it that one?
Yeah, can I use your dictaphone?
No.
OK, I can't say that. All right, that's disappointing. This is the first line of my favourite. I love that joke.
Oh dear.
There's a generation these days who, growing up, we've got no idea what the punchline is, and boy, oh boy, you are missing out so much. Jonathan, What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the Big Phony this morning,
Yes.
you've seen the breaking news since you've been on air about Tesco, local company Tesco.
Yes.
Hertfordshire and Britain's biggest supermarket, Tesco, they've announced a fall of 6% in profits last year. They made £3.3 billion, but like-for-like sales were down nearly 1.5%. Well, retail analyst David McCarthy says that this could mean around 1 million people per week have stopped shopping at Tesco.
Gosh.
1 million people per
A few
week.
years ago, Tesco was unstoppable, wasn't
Absolutely.
it? Unstoppable.
Now it seems to all be going very wrong. It would appear there's two different things that are causing the problem. Firstly, Aldi and Lidl.
Yep.
Secondly, Waitrose.
Oh, yes.
All of the customers that are looking for bargains, they're going to Aldi and Lidl.
Yeah.
And those that want a slightly more luxurious shop, they are going to Waitrose, leaving Tesco a little bit stuck. Well, from 9 this morning, I want your advice for the boss of Tesco. They're a local company. Seemingly, things aren't going brilliantly for them at the moment. So what advice would you give? We all shop in supermarkets. We all have our various criteria for what's important to us when we go to do our big shop. What would make you do your big shop in Tesco? Have you turned your back on Tesco? Are you shopping? I went to an Aldi on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was absolutely packed.
Wow.
It was so packed, I had to wait for 10 minutes before I could get a parking space in the car park.
Oh, dear.
It was absolutely rammed with
Do people really have criteria? My criteria for the supermarket is which one's nearest.
No.
Yeah, which one's nearest, yeah. And I'll go there.
No.
Really? People don't think like that?
No.
Gosh.
Well, I don't.
No, okay.
No,
What's
I
your
don't.
criteria then? Value? The food?
Yes, I go for value. You see, I do a lot of my shopping in Aldi.
Yeah.
I've become an Aldi shopper. And people who look down their nose at Aldi and Lidl, they're totally out of touch. This Aldi I went in, the car park was full of Mercedes and BMWs on Sunday.
Yeah.
All these middle-class people who are bagging themselves a bargain at Aldi.
Gosh.
It's happening.
Okay.
Seriously, it's happening. But I go for value, but I still want quality. I don't want to pay 69p for 6 tomatoes. And why are you smiling at that? That's how much I pay.
I like the minutiae of your life.
69p for 6 tomatoes that are hard and taste of absolutely nothing. I don't want that.
No, of course
I'd
you don't.
rather pay another 20p and get tomatoes that taste of tomato.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
Yes.
Well, from 9 this morning, I want your advice for the boss of Tesco on 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, remind us why we were talking about this, Catherine. I've really lost the will to live this
Because the
morning.
Pope had been talking about it, and what the Pope says is important to many.
Well, I mean, is it still in the 21st century?
Yes, to many.
Okay, so
What he says goes.
What was he saying?
He said, don't have pets, have kids instead, otherwise you'll be lonely when you're old.
And somehow...
That's not quite how he said it.
He said the bitterness of loneliness in old age.
Can you do the accent? Probably best you don't.
No. Anyway.
What, the Pope's accent?
So we decided to get Matt out of our hair for an hour or so. We'd send him out to ask people...
Kids or pets?
Yes, that's what I did, in a nutshell.
Why did you do it in a nutshell?
In a nutshell.
That'd be
kids or
weird.
Pets. That's where it was.
Really?
That's where it was.
And do you want to introduce it?
Well, I know Justin usually does, but I think just play the audio. What do you think about the Pope? He said that married couples should have children, not pets.
If he has an opinion like that, he should keep it to himself, being a leader of the faith, like, and everything. But you can't stop him opening his mouth, even though he puts his foot in it.
I mean, what do you prefer?
Hey, I've had children and pets all through my life. I've had dogs, I've had ferrets, I've had all sorts.
What's easier, the ferret or the children?
The children.
Sorry to bother you. I work at Three Counties Radio. I know you're crossing the pavement here, but the Pope tells married couples to have children, not pets. What do you think about that? You don't fancy talking to me this morning, do you? Where are you going? You're going to the gym? Pope tells married couples have children, not pets. Do you have pets?
Yes.
Do you have children?
No.
Why do you not have children but have pets?
Because I'm 24 years old, and I believe that I've only been with my partner a couple of years, so I'm not ready just as yet.
When do you think you'll be ready to have children, then?
When things progress a bit more, I suppose, down the line.
It's more of a commitment, isn't it, children than pets? I mean, pets are easy to look after, really, aren't they? I mean, just water them every now and again, feed them.
They do take a lot of attention, as well as obviously supervision, but I do believe a child does take more supervision than a pet does, because you can't leave a child on its own, whereas if you can a pet.
And the Pontiff says couples who decide not to procreate face the bitterness of loneliness in old age.
I don't think anyone should stereotype on saying that it can be children that can make you happiness, or it could be pets that can make you happiness. I think it depends on the individual and what their finances are and their commitments are.
What do you prefer, pets or children?
I don't like pets.
You don't like pets? Why don't you like pets?
I don't like cats. Too many cleaning up dust and dogs mess and everything.
So, do you have any children?
Yeah.
How many children do you have?
3.
So you have children but no pets, so you're going to keep it that way?
Yeah.
But you've got lots of children, so you'll be very happy.
No, I've got 3.
Well, that's enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cheers.
That fella at the end, Matt, where did you find him from?
It's not just in Dealey, is it, that Vox? But what? There's a couple of couches are pulled up outside the hotel, outside our studio.
Coaches.
He said couches.
Couches.
Couple of couches outside studio.
Coaches. Yes.
Well, a lot of them had accents. So you sure you didn't go back home?
No, actually, it's just been a coincidence, hasn't it? Really, a lot of Northerners have rung in or
it's been
on the programme.
It's been a very northern-centric show, local and vocal, just not local to this region. It's been so northern, in fact, that Catherine Boyle has recorded a song for us, haven't you, Catherine?
Oh, right.
Well, I'd say Matt made it happen.
Should we have a little listen?
I just mixed it up.
Oh, really?
You're the Brian Wilson to Matt's Mike Love.
Batley.
No.
Dewsbury.
No.
Wakefield.
No.
Heckman White.
No.
Liversidge.
No.
Thornell.
No.
Ravensthorpe.
No.
Ossett.
No.
Brighouse.
No.
Oh, right.
Keighley.
Keighley! Oh.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A40 London bound between Long Lane and the Polish War Memorial, there was an earlier accident, but all lanes have now reopened. Still got congestion sewing up on the sensors though, back onto the M40, almost going back to junction 2 for Beaconsfield. In Kings Langley, there are queues on the A41 from the Hemel Hempstead turn-off towards the M25. And on the speed sensors, the A1M southbound very slow between junction 9 for Letchworth and 7 for Stevenage. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Alice, thank you very much. 8:45, Wednesday, the 4th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Britain's biggest retailer, Tesco, has reported another set of poor trading figures. Sales over the past 3 months were down by almost 4%, the third quarterly drop in a row. Bedfordshire police say they are cracking down on antisocial behaviour in Houghton Regis, with help from the public, including photos of nuisance motorbike riders. 3 bikes have been seized and crushed, but many residents say the situation has got worse. And today's Queen's speech will include a compulsory 5p charge on plastic carrier bags. Seriously? Hasn't the Queen got better things to do with her time?
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's rather grey and rather damp. Some heavier bursts of rain mixed in as well. We've got one particularly at the moment over towards parts of western Buckinghamshire. Yes, so some heavy bursts mixed in. Some drier spells, though, to boot. They're just not going to last for very long. Wet, grey and chilly. It's certainly feeling a lot cooler than it had done for the last few days. The maximum just 15 Celsius. Overnight, the rain will continue. Eventually, by dawn, it should turn a little more intermittent and a little lighter. Minimum temperature down to 8 Celsius for Thursday. Most of us should be dry. We have got some rain around first thing. It won't be too long before it clears, and behind it a much warmer and sunnier day. We should get some really nice sunny spells tomorrow and a maximum temperature of 18 Celsius. A muggy day for Friday as we're pulling in some moist, warm, humid air from the southwest. And then for Saturday, the Met Office has already issued a weather warning for heavy, thundery downpours and perhaps some localised flooding. And that's your forecast.
World War I at home. on the BBC.
After we'd done all our donkey work, the army saw that we had made good.
Revealing untold stories.
The members of the society would welcome an opportunity of doing something to help the patient and faithful creatures whose lives were being sacrificed in the service of our country.
Discovering local memories.
I need not say again what my predecessors and I have felt as to the immense help you gave the government by allowing us to make trials in secret at Hatfield.
World War I at home.
He asked her to come and organise Rest Park to be turned into a convalescent home.
The torpedo got us in our Forward magazine, thereby killing everyone forward.
World War I at home. Every morning this week from 8:15.
Couple of texts.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The gap. But there, every time I get just that gap's just a little bit too uncomfortable for me. Couple of texts. Paul says, I called 101 regarding lads on bikes in Harlington. Was told if anyone's free, maybe they'll come by. They hurtle around public roads and footpaths. What are the parents like if they're happy for their kids to do that? Let's just ban motorbikes, shall we? Matt Allred makes an excellent point. We should ban all motorbikes. Just crush them. They're awful. Awful things. Matt, what do you reckon?
He never said that, did he, Matt Allred?
He pretty much, that was the message.
That was the gist, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was it?
that was Matt Allred's gist.
I thought he was in favour of motorbikes.
No, he was in favour of them being crushed as they are potential death traps.
And he hates people that dress up as Power Rangers as well. I don't know what his beef is
I didn't know
with
that
them.
was weird. I mean, he was all over the shop with that.
He likes ice cream men, though.
Yeah.
Is that right?
He likes buying
And
fake
old-
tabs.
Old Welshmen?
Yeah, something like that.
What happened to his buddy?
There we go. Steve says, I walked through Bedford Square on Monday evening with my 13-week-old. I wasn't stabbed or mugged. No gangs of youths. I would say these people who say they are intimidating gangs haven't been to Bedford Square recently in the evenings. And Angela says, pay for carrier bags. Nothing wrong with that. Or take bags with you. There's 2 more policing in Houghton. What? At last. I don't quite know what Angela... There's a lot of umlauts. There are too many umlauts in that text, and it's confusing me. Peter's in Walmer Green. Morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Did you have a nice shower?
Absolutely.
Have you dried off?
Absolutely.
Have you got clothes on?
Yes, indeed.
Do you use soap or shower gel?
I use soap.
I thought you might. Do you use Imperial Leather, one of the most luxurious soaps in the world?
No, I use Johnson's Baby Soap.
Do you remember the Imperial Leather family?
I remember.
They had a bath on a train.
Yes, indeed they did, but...
And in space towards the end.
But there's no infection from Johnson's Baby Soap at all.
There's no infection at all, which is great news. Great. and I bet your skin is lovely and smooth. Lickable.
Absolutely.
Lickable. What do you want to have a whinge about today, Peter?
I was just thinking about these people in Bedford with the motorcycles and everything else.
Yeah.
And saying the police don't react enough.
Yeah.
I think the people in various areas should really look at what they pay each year in their council tax elements for the police, which is over £100 a year.
Yeah.
And they should put a petition in with as many people as they can get into the chief constable and say, look, this is what we're paying and what are we getting for it.
Well, the thing is, though, Peter, that the police is having to make huge cuts, isn't it? I mean, they're having to save millions of pounds every year.
Well, I can't quite understand that because...
Well, I can explain it if you want. It's quite simple. Then got no money.
I find that a little bit laughable because if you're looking at an area, say, for instance, South Hatfield...
Yes, South Africa.
At one time, South Hatfield and Essendon had 14 police officers.
Yes.
And as part of the group.
Yes.
There is now, as far as I can see, or as far as I used to be able to see, there was 3, which included 2 part-time ones.
Right, but that's because you've just done my argument for me. They can't afford all those police officers anymore.
Well, I don't think the money people have paid in has gone down. In fact, it's gone up.
No, but they're having to make cuts. Bedford Police Force are having to save something like £20 million over the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's because they're getting cuts. But
they're cuts. Yes, that's where the money's going.
But every time you hear it, they say we're trying to get more police officers on the front line. Well, do you or any of your listeners have seen more on the front line?
No, they've seen less on the front line because they're making cuts. They haven't got the money to put
they
more.
tell you they're not cutting the front line.
Well, Peter, we're having a laugh. What you got planned for today, Pete?
My plans for the day is just a general relaxing day because it's my birthday.
Is it your birthday today?
Yes, indeed.
Hey! Catherine rightly pointed out you had a birthday shower today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my yearly shower, that's true.
How old are you, Peter?
21.
Yeah, and then some, and then some. Oh, well, have a lovely day. Treat yourself.
Oh, by the way, on your subject of the, they keep putting on about the immigration and all that sort of thing.
Sorry?
They keep putting the subject of immigration on.
Who do?
Various media
various media outlets keep putting the subject of immigration on, yeah.
Yeah, and when I lived in East London as a youngster...
Yes.
We absorbed Russian immigrants.
Yes.
We absorbed Jewish immigrants.
Yep.
And the volume stopped.
Yeah.
And there was a break, and it got very well absorbed.
Yes.
And the Jewish people.
Yes.
We were more close to them then than there'd ever been since.
Right.
And now they're saying if we get a continuous stream of people coming in,
anxious,
you can't absorb them. You really can't absorb.
Why can't you absorb them?
Because it's a continuous stream. It doesn't work like that.
You want to have a break for 2 years. No one's allowed to come in until we've absorbed them. We want to absorb the Poles and the Romanians.
Well, we want to absorb them so that there's a sort of quality of life for everyone.
Okay, well, that would be nice, wouldn't it, Peter?
Would indeed.
It would be, Peter. Now, listen, it's tradition on this show, as I'm sure regular listeners will be aware, that when an old man phones up who's had a shower because it's his birthday, we get someone from up north to sing happy birthday. Catherine, rest your vocal cords today. We've got another northerner here. Matt?
Hello, Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Peter in Walmer Green. Happy birthday to you. 3 cheers for Peter. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. There you go, Peter.
Silence is golden.
He's been doing this to me all morning, Ian. All morning. He's doing it again, look.
Yeah, well, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for as a solo effort.
I mean, what do you think of this silence that he's giving me? Do you think it's not on?
Well, no, he's quite in order, really, because he does that. He's a slight agitator, isn't he?
He is. I'm new to this show, you see. Oh, right. Oh, gonna play my song. Batley.
No.
Dewsbury.
No.
Wakefield.
No.
Heckman White.
No.
Liversidge.
No.
Thornell.
No.
Ravensthorpe.
No.
Ossett.
No.
Brighouse.
No.
Oh, right.
Keighley.
Keighley! Oh.
Let's go to Pat in Houghton. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, Ian.
Pat, what would you like to say?
I just get fed up of hearing the police in Houghton readers saying we have a multi-agency, we build up things with other agencies, etc. What about policing? I really get fed up with it because then they've got an excuse to say, well, the other part of the agency didn't play their part, that's why it didn't get done. And we've got the motorbike problems at the moment. We've had them for 15 years over in Woodside, Foster's Avenue, and they're starting again in the summer where all the revving up goes, you can't sit in your back garden, and all the police say is we haven't got the resources.
What would you like to see done then, Pat?
Well, I'd like to see the perpetrators taken and arrested. You know, they're causing a nuisance. Deal with it.
Is kids bombing around on motorcycles really their priority? Should it be their priority?
It's not only kids, it's adults. You're talking about middle-aged men racing around, up in Woodside. You're not talking just about kids. And they're dangerous to everybody around them as well.
The police crushed 3 motorbikes the other day.
Oh, big deal.
Oh.
I mean, that's no big deal, is it?
No.
They should be crushing more than that, the amount of motorcycles that are going around Houghton Regis at the moment.
Pat, thank you very much. I think they should be crushing all motorcycles, and maybe that'll be tomorrow's show. Disgusting things. Disgusting. Tony says in regards to that, we spoke to that lovely lady whose dog, Simba, saved her when I've forgotten the word, Catherine.
She had a hypo.
Thank you very much indeed. See, Ian, dogs are better than cats. By the way, your weather girl needs to go back to meteorology school. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Why not? Everyone knows that when you say thunder and lightning, you follow this with very, very frightening. Can you please ask that they carry out this basic of weather reports?
Matt, sort it out.
Saw one out.
There we go.
He's just totally given up. Ian,
I did the weather earlier, didn't I? It was very good.
Carrier bags. Both of you, just go home.
Right.
Carrier bags. I use free carrier bags to pick up my dog poo, and in the winter it keeps my hands warm.
Why do you need three?
Oh, I'd never pick up dog poo.
What is going to happen? To save money, won't the poo get under my fingernails?
Oh,
it's not
now,
fair.
come on. Who said that?
Supermarkets don't... That was Pat. Supermarkets never trust someone who's got an ambiguously sexual name. I don't mean ambiguously sexual.
Ambisexual.
That's it. Never trust someone who's got an ambipure air freshener. Never trust anyone who's ambisexualist.
What is he talking about?
The name Pat swings both ways.
Right.
Don't trust them.
I do think Pat as a woman, though. I don't think of it as a man. Patricia, isn't it? Short for Patricia, isn't it? Oh. Is Pat short for Patrick? Is it? Can you help me now? 08459 455 555. Is Pat short for Patrick?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M40 London bound, slow going between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and 1 for the Denham roundabout, and not helped by an earlier accident on the A40. The M25 anti-clockwise, very slow between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. Between Dunstable and Whipsnade, the Icknield Way is partially blocked following an accident. No delays on the speed sensors though. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Alice. That's it, that's your lot. I think we just about got away with it. What day is it tomorrow? Thursday. That's virtually the weekend. JVS is up next until tomorrow. Have we got you tomorrow, Matt?
I feel I may have peaked today, but yes, tomorrow you have.
Oh dear, I can only apologise.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Wednesday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's big phone-in, what advice would you give to the boss of Tesco? Hertfordshire and Britain's biggest supermarket, Tesco, has announced